Boys, girls, and MBs of all shapes, sizes, colors, and orientations, welcome to the one and only Alec Gunter stream. My name is Alec Gunter, and we have an exciting announcement. We're officially back on Twitch.tv. That's right, folks. We are back on Twitch.tv. It's happening. I finally caved. I'm back on Twitch. So if you prefer Twitch, for whatever reason, you are more than welcome to go there. You have a couple positives to doing that as opposed to the site chat, as well as a couple negatives. One of the positives being there are Twitch points that you can use. I went through and deleted some of the ones I don't like, but you can still make me do push-ups. You can still have some sound clips activated. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to have to probably put some limits on it. You like the Melty Tran shirt? Thank you. I'm going to have to probably put some limits on the sound bites, okay? But for right now, we're just going to see how it goes, and then we'll play it by ear, so to speak, with the sound bites. But yeah, points you can collect while watching me on Twitch. I don't think that it's there. You're going to get any ads because I'm no longer affiliated. Yep, there it is.
Like a baka.
Yep, just like that. Just like that. Remember to like this stream if you're on YouTube. And if you're coming into me from Twitch, brand new, and you want to be on the screen, the way that you do that is you type exclamation site, S-I-T-E, and it will direct you to my website, alecgunter.com/live, and you can be on the screen, just like the rest of these lovely folks. Now, I don't have a ton of time to set up. I am bringing on, who remembers a troubled maker? Does anybody remember a troubled maker? If you don't, I'll refresh your memory real quick. We talked about Ron DeSantis a few months back and how he was canceling pro-abortion pro-abortion ads, basically just cracking down on free speech as the conservatives ought to do now. So you may remember this. Ron DeSantis forces pro-choice ads to stop playing on TV. If that rings a bell, that's the same person coming on. I personally find a troubled maker to be a very intelligent person. I think that she has a lot to add to the conversation, a lot of good things to say. She has told me she's a bit sleepy-deepy today, a little bit under the weather, but she feels an imperative because of how important this stuff is. We're going to be talking about stuff like Tren de Aragua, stuff like that. I forget exactly what her credentials are, but I will ask again as she comes on. Even if she has no credentials, I just still find her very, very smart. So, and well-spoken. But yeah, welcome in everybody. I can see your chat if you are on Twitch. I can see your chat if you are on YouTube, even though it's not on the screen. Just letting you all know. We probably will have some new Twitch people rolling in. Maybe some trolls here and there. They do a little trolling, you know how it is. We have the moderators, or at least a moderator, aka Queen Laura, on site. I will probably have to hire a couple of more Twitch moderators. So if you've been in the community a while and that sounds something that interests you, reach out to me on Discord and we'll see what we can do for you. And I am drinking my protein shake. We getting paid now? No. Okay. I think she's going to need just a teensy bit more time, which is fine. But she really wanted to come on and talk about this, and I've been wanting to elevate more people's voices. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a dilemma when it comes to that, because the unfortunate truth is, when I bring on guests, it does not reflect well in the views. For instance, take a look at, I mean, my views haven't been doing great lately anyway, like, they're okay. Almost 3K on most of them, 1.7K on this one. But then you have the climate change one, which is a mixture of, we're talking about climate change, which unfortunately people don't seem to give much of a shit about. And then also I have a guest on. And for some reason, people just don't like the guest. Like when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, the guest speakers just don't do as well. I love having the guest speakers on. That's just the reality of the situation. Grimlow showed a clip of that guy. Yeah. I watched through a couple of this guy's clips. This is the guy we're going to be talking about later. Yeah, if you guys have any, like, damning clips of him, feel free to send them. We'll look at that one. The main one I want to watch is the one where he debates a woman on campus about why women should not be allowed to vote. Because I just feel like that's the most damning. Like, okay, you can have, unfortunately, as unfortunate as it is, you can have debates about, like, abortion rights, you know, and still seem normal. You can have debates about trans rights and still seem normal. You cannot have debates about even gay marriage. Like, that's still pretty not normal to debate about. But, like, even that is not as bad as, like, stripping women of the right to vote. That's pretty egregious. Yeah, I saw he went on Jesse Lee Peterson. I saw that. Yeah, he's like, he's an interesting little fellow. We're going to go over him. I was originally... I'll go over all of this when we actually start the segment, too. I was originally planning to reach out to him for a debate, but, like, what the fuck's the point? What's the point? Like, it would prove nothing. He would literally sit here, say, yeah, I want to own women as slaves. I want to outlaw gay marriage. I don't want abortion to be legal in any circumstance, even rape or incest. I want trans people to all be genocided. I want all the immigrants to be deported. I want to live in a complete... is it aristocracy? No. It is an aristocracy, right? Like a Christian theocracy. That's what I'm thinking of. The Christian theocracy. And I want everything to be run by the churches, and I want the churches to have all the money, and I want to, like, he'll just lay all of this out for us, and then be like, oh, and by the way, that's also based, and then have nothing to back it up except, like, facts and logic, or whatever, like, whatever he calls it. You know, like, well, look at historical precedent, and, like, not have any like, it just doesn't matter. He's not operating on the same wavelength that we are in reality. The best thing you can do with people like that is make fun of them, push them into the corner, and just wait for them to die. They actually invited me back onto Jubilee for the... I don't know if they've released it yet, but the segment with... they wanted me on Surrounded with Michael Knowles. And I thought about it, and I was like, no. Like, if I'm going back to Jubilee, I'm not going to be 1 out of 25. It's just not going to happen. If I lived close to it, then maybe, but I'm talking about, like, a cross-country trip. W shave? I disagree. I don't like shaving. The only reason I did it was for that stupid Trump cosplay, which I think was kind of useless, honestly. It was so stupid. I put myself out there, but, like, for what? It's whatever. Thank you, though. I appreciate the compliment nonetheless. That Eleazar Perez guy is insane and very hateful. Yeah, and no matter what I say to him, he's going to find a way to slither out of it and just, like, catch the W. You know what I mean? Or like what he perceives to be a W. I can just sit here and call him... Like, the only thing I can really do in that instance is just call him insane. And everybody on his side would be like, oh, emotional appeal, you're emotional appealing. And then if I try to pull up evidence for any of my sources that, like, trans care... affirmative, not affirmative action, trans affirming care, gender affirming care is positive and good for our children and for adults and whatever, he'll just be like, oh, appeals to authority, they're lying, they're funded by big trans. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't live in reality, and nothing I say to them is going to change any of it. Like, literally all you can do is point, make fun, and wait for them to die. I hate shaving. I can do it, but, like, the face feels awful post-shave. I think it feels different. I wouldn't say awful. I just hate how I look. Like, I've gained enough weight now that you can kind of see the double chin more, and I don't like that. I just think that, like, my face is better structured for a beard, personally. You look handsome. Thank you. Some people like the shave. Some people like the 5 o'clock shadow. I think I look best with a beard, and so does my wife, so I'm growing it back. I will say, though, the gains are coming back. The gains are coming back. I've had a little bit of a hang-up when it comes to actually losing weight. because I keep fluctuating between 250 and 257, which is a huge fluctuation, and I have no idea what's going on with that. But I did do this. So that was pretty cool. 405 pounds. Not too shabby, not too shabby. We're getting back. We're so back. We are so back. Back in 2017, I still believed with debates you can change people, but today it does not matter at all. You can talk 3 hours with a conservative, and next day they will see a new vid on X. Yes, exactly. Like, they have the worst short-term memory loss. I actually saw a great video about it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It was a skit that somebody did. I can't find it. It was really funny, though, because the guy was like, well, you know that, like, we sent mostly our old weapons to Ukraine, and, like, you know, they're defending against an invasion, and none of that money would be used for healthcare or anything else anyway. And then the other conservative just kept repeating this, like, no, I mean, the conservative kept repeating the same talking points over and over like a fucking NPC. Like, that's all they are anymore, fucking NPCs. Bidding USC students on women's right to vote. This might be... No, this is not the one that we're going over. Although, if he does bring up the women's right to vote thing, then maybe we could. Oh, no, this is the one. I think this is the one. No, this isn't the one. There's a different one. Apparently, there's, like, a debate lord woman that he's debating, and, like, she gets triggered or something. I think it's the same day, but they're, like, separate videos. You know what? This is his most recent one, and it's shorter, so I'll just go with this one. Yeah, we'll just go with this one. Unless I need to lose weight, either that or start working out. Yeah, you can never go wrong with a workout, just as long as you don't hurt yourself. Be safe, but work out. Modern-day conservatives are okay with supporting people who believe a woman's right to vote should be taken away because they probably believe in that themselves and they don't want to admit it. Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, that's where this is all headed, right? Like, being homophobic, being transphobic, being misogynistic, and to a lesser extent these days, but also being racist, it all, and being pro-child abuse, that all leads back to one source, and that is that it's not just white men, but largely white men just want to be in control of everything, own everybody else, and have a like, they all want to be the one guy at the top of the pile, you know? Like, they'll get their, like, if they were to get their ideal world, they would still not be happy. You know what I mean? Like, they would still, like, want to conquer other places and kill the other white guy with all of their slaves and concubines and take over all the concubines. You know, like, it all leads back to it's just greed. It's sick, disgusting greed. I'd rather find a way to work out at home. Get resistance bands. Okay, still just waiting on our guest speaker. You're a good one, brother. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you. I wonder how many viewers we have on Twitch. Let's check. Probably like 5. It was 5 when I first checked. Eight. There we go. I'll take it. I'll take it. Conyer warned about this a long time ago, and it's all happening before our very eyes. Where is Conyer? I haven't seen my Thembo Conyer in a while. Anybody know what's going on with them? Are they doing okay? I haven't even seen like social media posts from them. I'm going down the viewer count hole again. I have viewer count on YouTube plastered right in front of me, so like, you know. You have been fruitful and you have multiplied, that's true. Last I've seen was months ago, speedrunning Mario 64. The last community post on YouTube was 2 weeks ago. Okay, well that's better than months ago. Yeah, I've seen Shark posting on Twitter, so I'm less worried about him. Although, we need both of them back really bad. I feel like they carried, like, very specific audiences, and I had a lot of crossover with them, so I guess technically their absence is kind of helping me, but I don't care. We need our boys back, okay? And I can say Kanyer's a boy because Kanyer doesn't care what gender they are. So we need our boys back. Don't harass them, though. They'll come back when they're good and ready, and messaging them will not help. If you do message them, tell them how lovely their content is, how thankful you are that it's around, and how much work they did, and leave it at that. Do not pester them to come back. And wish them well. Because let's, you know, if they never do come back, like, I mean, consider what they've already given us, you know? That's huge. I mean, Shark got a fucking YouTube play button. Isn't that nuts? That's pretty nutty. Like, I've met that guy in person, and he has a fucking YouTube play button. That's sick. Yeah, Shark is my favorite. No. It's okay if you like Shark better than me. I take no offense to that. I think that Shark, in many ways, is objectively better than me. Like, I'm so jealous of, like, his natural charisma and his affinity to make jokes and his laid-back personality. Like, Shark is such a delight to watch. And I appreciate those who prefer me. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I find your taste to be a little lacking. No, I'm kidding. I love my audience. I appreciate all of you, and I'm glad that I can fill that gap. Nice shirt, thank you. I can't with how people react to the news. Everyone should be shocked the president impeached twice can still run. It's no. No. It's not even just that he's been impeached twice. That's not the problem. The problem is, like, everything else. Like, I'm fine with a president who's been impeached twice still being president. I think that is one straw on the camel's back. You know what I mean? It is but a singular straw on the camel's back. I too also feel like we all bring something good and different to the table. I think Kanyer is a really like probably the best representation on the left for a non-binary creator. No, actually, I take that back. I could never. I guess when I say the best, I mean like the first one that comes to my head. But then there's also Jesse Gender. Or not Jesse Gender. Who am I thinking of? Although I guess Jesse Gender's not bad either. Is Jesse Gender non-binary? I forget. I'm thinking of somebody else anyway. Why can't I think of them? Hold on. Dead domain. Thank you. Jesse is trans. That does not answer my question. Finster is gender fluid. Yeah, but Finster is not a political streamer. At least not to my knowledge. I could be wrong. I grew up thinking if you were impeached, you're done. They literally put you inside of a peach. How can you not be done? I don't understand. Jessie Gender is a good content creator, and I'll still watch her stuff, but that whole beef she had with Shark did leave a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, she, like, had some weird beef that kind of weirded me out, but listen, we're not going to drag that bag out, okay? I'm sorry, this is not the time. Now is not the time. Oh, here we go. Okay, I was just about to reach out to her, and it looks like she's ready. Okay, let us pull in our guest. Hello?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Right before I got in here, I was literally walking around my house trying to make sure that like my vocal cords could do like, because I'll talk about shit and do different voices to kind of implicate particular meanings. I can't do any of them.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
My voice is that shattered right now. Because I was listening to you talk for like 10 minutes before I got on, and I was like, I can't even do the, I hear talk about sharks, and I hear talk about somebody else. What's the shark? Do we have to worry about the attacks now?
That's a good Harley Quinn. Very
That's
good.
not even what I was going for.
Well, it's a great Harley Quinn.
You see what I mean by compromise?
A little bit. Real quick before we get started, could you just introduce yourself in case in case people here haven't seen you before? I know you've been on once before. When we talked about Ron DeSantis taking away, basically just shutting down free speech on abortion ads. So we've had you on once before, but give us, I guess, the name you like to go by, the pronouns you like to go by, maybe anything about your credentials and what you're here to talk about today.
Oh, so my resume. All right.
Just a brief. Yep.
I'm a troublemaker. So not troublemaker, but troubled maker, but still both apply to me regardless. AKA shit starter, AKA problem child.
We love that.
Yeah. I am the head of research for the National Youth Rights Association. Whether that is good or bad for them right now, I don't know, but I'm also running it partially running it at the moment. Acting director at the moment. So
well, it sounds like just from my perspective, if I could glaze you a little bit, I can tell you care a lot about the work that you do, so I would call it a positive.
To the point of my own detriment, which I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I probably shouldn't be doing that.
That's okay. I understand, but definitely good to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Yeah,
I tend to forget that. Pronouns end up being who and whom.
Okay.
She, her is fine.
She, her. All right.
Yeah. I'm also tend to be a little bit older than most, and by surprise to people, I'm 40.
Okay.
However, it is mostly me recognizing things that have been in patterns that have presented before historically, because I'm old enough to have been seeing it before, you know what I mean? So I've recognized that. And for example, the great wisdom that South Park used to bring us, which is why I sent you the clip that I did earlier.
Yes, I can't play it on stream for fear of copyright, but I can pull up
the...
I don't want to get, like, I guess it's just a risk that I'd rather. I mean, how long's the clip again? Hold on.
Let me see if you well, if I think you can show people probably the thumbnail to it and tell them to watch it because it's very, very short. It's just the simple fact that they have Trump explaining exactly the concept that he's doing, which in itself goes into this kind of like repetitive sort of like mind fuck loop, as it were.
Yeah, I'll play like the first 10 seconds real quick.
Okay,
Right.
sure, put him through. This is the president. Hi, Mr. President.
I'll skip a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Darvo, Randy. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender.
There you go.
All right, let's roll.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So yeah, if you want to see that, you can go look it up. It's a 1-minute clip, but I'd rather not get copyright struck. So, but yeah, go ahead and tell me. I guess this is a good springboard, right, to what we're going to talk about.
This is my favorite springboard.
Okay, great.
So Darvo is, deny attack, reverse victim, offender. It's a concept that was derived from basically institutional abuse, which is the person. Jennifer Freyd is the person that put that concept or kind of came up with that concept. And yeah, it's a lot of work that applies to it. So I'm actually I'm kind of 10 seconds ahead behind whatever because I'm also watching your stream as it's actually going on.
Would you like to see it in real time? I can go live on Discord.
Don't worry about it. Okay. I'm used to this. I'm old.
No worries.
Actually, no. Relating to hormones and how it goes beyond affecting things that people don't realize. I have issues with cortisol. I have hypercortisolism. And people forget that whenever you're treating things that regard hormones, it's going beyond things that are gender related. So
Yeah,
when
I mean,
you have all of that
insulin.
stuff, yeah, insulin, you're doing that as well. But
Yep.
insulin kind of gets the exemption at times because of the recognition of just of diabetes being so prevalent among a lot of kind of more like large demographics of people.
Of course. I do think that it is worth pointing that out in like I guess a debate format, but also just like if you're in a format where like, oh, we're gonna ban all hormones, just be like, why not insulin? Insulin's a hormone, right? Like I think that it's a good argument personally.
Yep, it works.
Yep, sorry.
So cortisol, it actually one of the first there is a former US president that had issues with cortisol. But addressing that is what allowed him to actually like win the first televised debate that there ever was. And that was JFK Jr. He had Addison's disease, which is the opposite of what I likely have, which is Cushing's disorder or Cushing's disease.
Yes.
Addison's is low cortisol, whereas Cushing's is high cortisol. And high cortisol is also, I don't know if this is like interesting or whatever, but can be nicknamed as the ugly disease because it makes you fat.
Unfortunately, it has. I have it pulled up on the screen. It gives you extra body fat in a lot of places. It gives you something that I personally find this kind of like controversial, but we learn about it in nursing school as the buffalo hump, and that's what they call it. So
Dorsocervical fat pad.
Yep. Pendulous abdomen. They have such creative names for it. Stretch marks. So yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So actually, and then I was seeing you play clips of you lifting weights earlier. I used to be able, I don't know if this is impressive or if somebody heard it and just told me that it wasn't because they were feeling a little bit threatened. I used to leg press 350.
Really?
I don't know. Yes. I'm also
like
6
bench
feet
press?
tall. Leg press.
Leg press. Okay. I was gonna say bench press. That's very impressive, even like by bodybuilding standards. But okay, so leg press. Yeah, that's actually still really impressive for sure. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I just did, I maxed out today at 405 and I'm like 6'2", 257 pounds. So like, you know, that's really, really impressive.
Yeah. So I did 350 leg press. I didn't really do a lot of upper body strength, but before this disorder, which also has taken 20 years to diagnose,
Hmm.
um, has deteriorated my muscle mass. So you know, that's why I was telling you. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to carry a string either.
Yeah.
Because I can't carry anything or even be able to like of course I was making a joke about that earlier because I woke up really, really late today.
Hmm.
Um
Let's circle back around to where
oh
we're
yeah.
going with this as far as like restricting access to hormones.
Mm-hmm. Um, it tends to make doctors really hesitant to treat things beyond diabetes when it comes to hormones,
Hmm.
especially as it starts to cause sort of like with Cushing's disease, it can cause women to like grow a really poorly manicured goatee, right? And it
Hmm.
will cause kind of like different things that look gender related. And for those reasons, initially, before you get a diagnosis, it starts to look like something else. Um, and
Hmm.
that makes them really hesitant. But it all kind of gets a little bit clumped together. But now that you're kind of going back to the whole Darbo thing, I also showed you the clip of the what changed my mind about what I wanted to kind of bring up. Um,
Hmm.
and that is the mass deportations of um and I still need to actually do a little bit of research on this, but the moment I saw it was what brought to mind something that is going to sound crazy because I this is something that gave me flashbacks, and I'll get to that after it's tell me whenever it's done playing.
It's not, there's no audio, so you can talk over it if you'd like.
Okay. Um I was sent to what was referred to as like a troubled teen facility when I was younger,
Yes, I
and
remember you
part of
mentioning that.
uh-huh part of the process of that happening is um some parents will hire a transport agency to come kidnap you in the middle of the night.
Uh-huh.
You won't know who the people are that are getting you. Um, Now, in the instance of the places that I went to, they don't shave your head, but in some places they do, or they did. Those are a little bit older and they've been, but like this even kind of I'm trying not to kind of watch it. And you don't have to like stop. It's probably stopped playing by at this point, but
Hmm.
like this gets to me. That's why I was like, nah, I gotta explain why like civics is important to the thing in the first place by it, why all of this should upset you beyond it just being upsetting in the first place. Like I'm jarred a little bit.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I spent 3 years in one of those places that was, and it also fortunately was shut down a year and a half ago.
Good.
Uh, in part due to my research on it. Um, I'll
Very good.
name
Good
it in a
job.
later date. Thank you. But the same thing happens with those that get sent to these troubled teen facilities. There's no due process. There's no like
Yep.
there's no way to determine if they actually need to go to any of these places. It's all decided by the parent. And even then the parent is brought in isn't really made aware of what's going on at a lot of these facilities in the first place. But to circle back around to current event, um, this is so. Tell me what you are aware of now, because I don't want to completely direct like your stream or whatever. But
No, you're fine. We haven't talked about this on stream yet, so I'll just give a brief summary of what I know.
mhm.
Basically, the Trump administration has been taking liberties against court orders to, uh, disappear people in various areas, like we talked about. We did talk about uh, Mohammed Khalil, right? Mohammed Khalil. He was one of the first victims of this, or one of the most prominent, I should say, at least. Basically, just for speaking out about Palestine and supporting them and being against the genocide. He did nothing wrong, even if he completely supported Hamas, just like they said. He did nothing wrong. He's a legal resident with a green card, and they literally just disappeared him, and it appears as though they are going to deport him. I don't know if his location is even known yet. But the Trump administration now has reinstated what was the act called from like 17 something? Like the
It's one that's only been used probably like 2 or 3 times.
mhm.
I know that, and it's been in extraordinary circumstances, even in that instance. They're basically doing that's kind of a legal move that people do to try to justify something. It's just shady lawyer tactic, from what I can kind of recall, out of that context entirely. But yeah,
Yeah, the
I don't
Illegal
remember the
Aliens
exact.
Act.
Yeah, but it meant to apply to something very, very different. But yeah, this is a shady lawyer tactic.
Yes. So Trump enacted this, and he didn't really need to, in my opinion. Like, he's going to just go against court orders anyway, but he's trying to, I guess, still maintain some legitimacy, if I had to guess. Bottom line being, now they're talking about Tren de Aragua, which I guess is a legitimate like gang in somewhere in South America, I forget where, which is like dangerous, and they're not good people, but we could talk about like the circumstances that led to their formation, whatever. But bottom line is, yeah, sure, Tren de Aragua, not great. But now what they're doing is they're rounding up a bunch of people who happen to look, Hispanic or brown in any way, really, who have tattoos, and literally just using the tattoo. Like one of them was a tattoo artist that they rounded up, who was here completely legally, and they just round them up and ship them over to what's the prison called? I forget.
Uh, was it the one in El Salvador?
I think so.
Yeah. Right now I'm looking into. So there was actually somebody that showed on some like larger streamer on Twitch or whatever, and I think that's what I was talking about with Asmongold to you.
Mhm.
He was actually referencing something and I was like, he's referencing an OSINT like Twitter account, and that's what was like, he's doing it wrong. So that's what like got me kind of like heated, but I'm trying to make sure that what I'm looking at right now. Okay, yeah, it was from last year. So let me see how easily I can send this to you.
Sure.
Um, this is a document, and I haven't read through it yet, but it's from the Department of Public Safety from Texas about this exact gang, and ways to spot it. And as far as I know, this is a PDF that I'm sending you. This has nothing to do with any of Trump's authoritarianism. Um,
Mhm.
but it will show some of the actual like proper markings and tattoos that are associated with this gang. Real Hasta de Muerte till death, Ios de Dios, sons of God. So you'll see those phrases from people. That would be there's a tren, that would be actual identifiers. Why do they have Vientitais age 23 for Michael Jordan? This is again where I need to would need to look a little bit more to it. Like I said, I will give it 5 Eastern time.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I don't know if you're bringing it up on yeah, you're bringing it up streaming
Yep.
right now. But that will kind of show like what would be it. So it's kind of also kind of like why hasn't anybody heard of this? Like people have heard of things like MS-13, right? Those kind of gangs. And so
Mhm.
it wouldn't come as a surprise if there was some kind of like process of you know members of that being detained, but like with due process, like that wouldn't probably come as shocking as seeing just like a gang that has not been brought up in public discourse whatsoever, Um,
Yep.
all of a sudden, you just see this video and of them being covered, and also, so then note the tattoos, and then if you go back to look at the EP video, see if you can even spot anything that would be similar to those. That would be the process of kind of innocent investigation.
Right.
So, as much as you can, zoom in and see if any of them have those tattoos.
Well, so there is.
Or
This is
any.
probably the best shot we're going to get right here.
Uh-huh.
Because they're clearly showing the tattoo on purpose for like media purposes. So they're trying to show off this tattoo. So let's match this up and just see, like, hold on. It's going to take a second to set this up. So we got this tattoo, and then we got the list of tattoos over here. We got it's not the star. It's not the train. Follow along with me, kids. It's not the, I don't think it's the clock.
Yeah. So Estrella train. So stars train. And then they've got the phrase Reales de la Muerte. So any kind of wording, and I don't see any wording on the guy's arm.
Yeah, no. Granted, the lighting makes it a little difficult to tell what it is, but I don't think that this resembles anything that any of these tattoos are.
But also know that this is coming from a Associated Press, which is not is namely the news organization that Trump kicked out of the Oval Office and wasn't letting like cover things. So they're probably doing a good job. And they have a record of doing things that are pretty much objectively delivered. So bear that in mind. So if they do are able to show something, they're probably doing the best. The fact that they were able to get them kind of impressive. Because I don't know of anyone else that has.
So just to push back a little bit, do you know that this is an exhaustive list of like, I know that like these pictures are not completely exhaustive because it also says like jaguars, tigers, felines, roses. There's a rose here, I guess.
That's literally what I pulled up while we've been talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then this is what you were able to find.
Like just during the course of our conversation. So I was limited to that period of time.
That's fair. But I do want to point out once again, they arrested a freaking tattoo artist. Like, who did nothing wrong and had no affiliation with Tren de Aragua. And just shipped him out. I'm pretty sure his lawyers are still like trying to find him. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just don't know where that guy is. We don't know where a lot of these people are. They're over. Let's move on to like they're just ignoring judges, right? Like, let me see if I can find something on that.
Is that something else that can be translated though? Just in your browser. But I'm finding basically coverage. I'm kind of giving like a how-to of like being able to kind of check sources and like whenever people are talking shit. Like, and I say that meaning Carolyn Levitt. I'm referring to her as talking shit.
Who's that? I've heard of this person.
That's the U.S. press secretary. Oh, what did you hear?
Oh, right. The blonde chick.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was she saying?
Oh, it's just the delivery that she has of things. Whenever she says things and says like she's responsible for what goes to the press representing the president and his administration, right? So it is really important to be whatever people fact check her in real time and she shoots back at them in probably one of the most unprofessional ways I've ever seen and that has really ever been seen in executive government. Like that's mind-blowing. And also just indicative of there's even a little bit of Darvo in that, honestly. But you can kind of, this is where you get the claims from that, and this is how I tend to fact check things. Is basically what I'm getting to saying.
Gotcha. So you're listening to the things that she's saying and then fact checking them as she's saying them. Is that what you mean?
That's the process I go by, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so can you give me an example of something she said that you fact checked? Or did we already go over one? Was that the tattoo thing?
No, I'm saying that she's a good example of somewhere to start
Gotcha.
to be able to do that yourself. And
Gotcha.
I'm
Okay.
kind of going a way of in which that can be done. Um,
hmm
so she delivered a press conference, I think it was yesterday, that was really incendiary. And that might be also a good place to start if insofar as covering things that are ongoing. Um, seeing the things that she actually said.
Right.
And then also the what's I think what's going to be the let's because today's the 18th. What's going to be the thing that breaks people is when they notice what happens when the full tariffs come into place. Because the moment that it actually affects an individual is when they tend to stop kind of defending it.
Yes.
Not necessarily that it's gonna affect those around them. They may be able to see it, but they're not the lack of empathy that exists there prevents them from actually saying anything about it. And there was something that you said earlier that I actually wanted to kind of contest, and I forget what
Sure.
it was. Um,
Oh,
shit.
okay. Well, if you think of it, let me know.
Yeah, remember, I'm having an old day here.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay.
Uh, but,
Was it anything about Tren de
yeah.
Aragua and the deportations?
Oh, is somebody asking in your, stream?
No, no, no. That was me asking you if that's the thing you wanted to contest.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. But, feel free to play what she says if you have a clip up.
Yeah, let me see. So, is there anything specific you think we should pull up?
Anything she said in the last press conference with her involved, like anything. I would even encourage people in the chat to kind of make bullet points of those claims.
Let's see if we can find something short here.
There should be some kind of short summary.
Carolyn, leave it. Press
It's
conference.
Levitt, but I really like that you said leave it.
Leave it. Well, that's how I spell it. So I'm like, oh, leave it. Yeah, of course. Let's see. Press briefing by Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt.
Because that's how you
Harley,
should
good to see
really
you.
handle anything she says is just leave it where it is.
Just leave it. Yep. We'll scroll down to her response to a question. Does the president see anything fishy about DeepSeek? I don't know what that is.
That's the AI that came out of China that basically accomplished what ChatGPT did at a fraction of the investment and at a fraction of the time. And it's
Gotcha.
open source.
So
I've been
not good.
tinkering with it.
Oh,
No,
have
that's
you?
great. Yeah.
You think it's good? Okay, okay. I'm
Yeah,
not a big
open
AI
source
guy.
Oh, yeah, no. AI is only as dangerous as you make it by what you feed it and what you allow to do what you love what it's AI is kind of a marketing term, and that's not particularly accurate to the full scope of what's considered to be under that umbrella. What's more accurate is machine learning or language learning. Yeah, language learning machine. Like that's so you're putting something into a um
Hmm.
process that is going to be absorbing information and has defined parameters of what it can do and what it can learn and adapt to with that information. So now we're kind of going into territory that's going to be very different than this. So I don't want to get too off base. Um, so if Miss Leavitt has anything incendiary to say, which is actually most of the things she says are incendiary.
Yeah, she says the president was asked about DeepSeek last night on Air Force One when he gaggled for, I think, the third or fourth time throughout the weekend with members of the traveling press corps. The president said that he believes that this is a wake-up call to the American AI industry. The last administration sat on their hands and allowed China to rapidly develop this AI program. So they're basically just throwing shade on it and calling it not trustworthy. I am being told by some people, Maeve says DeepSeek is based because it's open source. Okay, I don't, but is it generative AI? I hate to like stick on this point, but is it like generative AI, like making images and like writing stories like ChatGPT, or is it like something else?
It's generative in the same capacity, yeah. But it's the
Okay.
parameters in which that generation happens that are important.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for
I got,
example,
yeah. Mhm.
I paid for a month of the of ChatGPT that allows you to play with the generative aspect. The
Mhm.
main person I work with any kind of like software development is an AI engineer, and actually and I have to credit him with all of this because he's the one that did it. I'm the one that's kind of telling him how it's responding to the things that I'm doing. Is that he based um an AI off of Max Hedberg, Wednesday Adams, and someone else's personality to basically help you with being able to stick to self-improvement tasks
Mhm.
and motivate you to continue being able to do things that will help you along with it. I wonder if it would be appropriate for me to actually share that. You can show it online. Actually, yeah, that's free advertising for it. Let me get it real quick. So then I
So
can show you what it is.
I guess like I just personally have issues with ChatGPT and generative AI as a concept because I would hate to get into a debate with you about this, but like I just find it to be a lot of resources we're wasting on essentially computers making art, and I don't find that useful.
Mm. This has
That's just
nothing to
me.
do with art or images.
Okay, sorry. I must not be understanding. I apologize.
It's okay. Um, I'm trying to also calculate the moment. I might only have 15 more minutes of like brain energy.
That's fine. Do you want to move on to something else? I can go on to another question she was asked, like about
No, I
Medicaid.
mean overall.
Overall, what do you
Uh,
mean?
like I'll probably only be able to participate for probably another 15 minutes.
Right. So I'm saying, like, do you want to move on to something else, like another question that was asked of Mrs. Leavitt?
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Levitt. Yeah, so she was talking about, so the question is, it's caused a lot of confusion around the country among Head Start providers, among providers, from services to homeless veterans, Medicaid providers, states saying they're having trouble accessing the portal. Could you help us clear up some confusion? Ms. Levitt says yes. Questioner says, give some certainty to folks, and then also, is that uncertainty, how does that uncertainty service the president's voters? Ms. Levitt says, well, I think there's only uncertainty in this room amongst the media. There's no uncertainty in this building. So let me provide the certainty and the clarity that all of you need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance and grant programs from the Trump administration. Individual assistance, that includes, I'm not naming everything that's included, but just to give you a few examples, Social Security benefits, Medicare benefits, food stamps, welfare benefits, assistance that is going directly to individuals will not be impacted by this pause. And I want to make that very clear to any Americans who are watching at home who may be a little bit confused about some of the media reporting. This administration, if you are receiving individual assistance from the federal government, you will still continue to receive that. However, it is the responsibility of this president and this administration to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. That is something that President Trump campaigned on.
I say this
That's why
as
he
an
has launched
engineer.
Doge, the
AI is
Department
bad
of...
and will always be
Sorry,
bad.
one sec. Thank you very much, Agatanuki, for I saw your one from earlier too. I don't know why the voice thing didn't go off, but thank you for 10 tier 1 gifted subs. Very kind of you. Thank you. So anyway, she continues. That's why he has launched Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, who is working alongside OMB. And that's why OMB has sent out this memo last night, because the president signed an executive order directing OMB to do just this. And the reason for this is to ensure that every penny that is going out the door is not conflicting with the executive orders and actions that this president has taken. So... And then she goes into illegal funding for DEI programs, no more funding for the Green New Scam, which, the Green New Deal never actually was implemented. No more funding for transgenderism and wokeness across our federal bureaucracy and agencies. No
That's
more
what you
funding
actually wanted to say. The above part that you all just talked about was filler and was what I refer to as allostatic overload, and what what Steve Bannon refers to as flooding the zone.
Okay. So
So
flooding the zone.
flooding the zone?
Yeah. So is it like word salad basically?
Flooding the zone is what's happening. Okay, a better example now, actually past what he was. So what is your awareness of Steve Bannon's role in the current Trump methodology of kind of overthrowing shit?
To be honest with you, I'm not great at names, so I'd have to look up Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon looks like the homeless guy that just showered.
Oh, this guy didn't. Yeah, Gavin Newsom just had him on.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. Yeah.
Yeah.
He is someone that is unfortunately very charming and very well spoken, that happens to be exceptional at directing a narrative at a large to a large audience that's believable, and also is able to kind of overwhelm that audience, and it's the overwhelming of the audience that is the key factor, whereas the things he's saying are, and the things that he's getting other people to say, are most likely irrelevant. Okay, political gishgal. Yeah.
Okay. So I can understand that. So like just throwing out idea after idea so that nobody can
It
really like pin you down
you
on
can't
one certain thing.
yeah, you can't
Yeah.
make sense of it. So
Right. Got it.
to give a reason why um language learning models and machine learning are good things is because you could have taken everything that you just read, fed it into something like a machine learning instance, and so long as you're transparent about what you're doing with that machine learning instance and the parameters in which you have it set up, um you're acting within an ethical means of being a software developer or developer in general, so long as you're saying like what you're actually doing with it, and so that you can actually look under the hood and see how it functions and operates, so that you know if it's manipulative or if it's generating um there's a there's someone that covers this exceptionally well, is Noah Yuri, what was let me get his, because I always mix up his name. Um Yuval. And this is all about kind of the idea of Yuval Noah Harari.
Okay.
And he focuses on AI and information at large, are what the difference between information, fact, and truth, because these are different things. Um Again, I feel kind of like I'm hopping around from thing to thing,
That's
and I'm
okay.
trying not
If
to
it's all
do it.
right. If it's all right, I'd like to focus more on what's going on with Miss Levitt here, leave it, whatever you want to call it. So
I really like that you're referring to her as leave it.
so basically we're talking about a Gish Gallop here. She is she didn't really like, she's saying we're not going to cut any programs, but obviously that's not true. People are already having issues like accessing you know, if I'm not mistaken, people are already having issues accessing Medicare, right?
Um, they are, in the sense that providers that have it are taking certain precautionary measures that are falling onto the patient. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, she's just lying here, which is no surprise. Yeah. And of course, like at the end here, oh, we're going after like funding for transgenderism and wokeness and federal bureaucracy and agencies and green new scam and social engineering policies. And it's like, but like, what funding for transgenderism? There's no like government like program for transgenderism. It doesn't exist. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, if they're
Um,
trying to refer to gender affirming care, that's also misleading itself, because then that starts to fall under an umbrella of things that even cover just therapy for somebody that is struggling just kind of with their own personal awareness. That falls under gender affirming care.
right.
Also,
Like,
it can be said that um me having to have a radical hysterectomy and not having HRT as a 40-year-old woman falls under gender affirming care, and I'm not trans.
right. Yeah. Like, what if you have, cancer taking over your entire reproductive tract in, as a female person, like you might need a hysterectomy.
Yeah,
So, like, am I allowed to get that? Like, do we?
that and
It's
that
either you're not allowed to get it, or they'll make an exception for that, which is kind of a double standard. So,
it, yeah, and that's what starts to highlight the deception that is going
right.
on. Somebody said in the chat, Elon received gender affirming care. If they're
Yep.
referring to the um other penis pump, uh, that what they mean? I don't, I don't know what Kermit might be referring to. The other penis pump. Sorry, what was it? The other white meat. Actually, that could be said of what has Elon Musk.
What is this penis pump you're referring to? Is this something Elon had?
It's something inflatable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess let's put a bow on all of this. So we talked about a bunch of different stuff. We talked about Darvo. We talked about the deportations going on, Carolyn Levitt and Medicaid and Medicare, and they're definitely not making cuts to that, I promise. What is the overall message that you want people to walk away here with?
Real patriots ask questions.
Real patriot ask questions. Always ask questions. Always do your own research, right? When we say that, we actually mean it. Find like reputable sources. Don't believe anything the Trump administration is feeding you. I would hope my
Well,
audience
that's
already
not
knows
it.
that, but
Listen.
just in case.
Oh, I'm gonna put an asterisk there.
Sure.
Um, don't believe it at face value.
Yes.
Um, they're probably, because this is also something that you do to kind of um navigate things. It's sort of like a skeezy legal tactic, so that later you can't be held in contempt of in any kind of capacity, is to be able to say that you said it under certain pretenses or circumstances or whatever. Um, and there's probably a really obvious word that I'm missing there that actually defines that. But what I
Mhm.
want to leave it with people.
Sure.
I'm trying
Leave
to
it. Right.
find
Right.
anything to use that, because that was accidentally brilliant.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. I'm
is
good at that.
is here. This is what, and actually you'll be able to fully play this. So my Lord and Savior is Carl Sagan. Or I just refer to him as Papa Sagan.
Okay.
And something that he says, and he said in one of his last interviews that he did before he passed, um, and it was basically that, let me get something that's more of just a short quote, but um, when we lose the capacity or the ability to interrogate those in authority, we are up for grabs by any charlatan that may come into play. So at the moment that you're not able to question somebody, that which authority does not mean expert. Authority just simply means power. That's it.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that they know that what they're talking about is that they're in the position to be doing the talking. When you are not able to question them, is when that should be taken as the red flag to do more and to keep pushing. And when you see the effects of that happen, is when you should really that's when it should really kind of wake people up and, dare I say, produce the effect of woke, which woke is completely a term that was taken and manipulated for a particular effect. When you
We're
look into
taking
the
it back.
history of what that yeah. But
We're
my
taking it
favorite
back.
person who actually is doing that is Cat Williams. So if anybody wants to put a pin in Cat Williams, that was my favorite person who started doing that recently. Um, I think it's kind of weird for me to say Papa Cat, especially because there's a significant difference of background and melanin that you'll see between he and I with some of the things he also covers. But regardless, it notice when certain people ask questions to Trump, and if they're unable to simply ask a question, that becomes a red flag. When he
Absolutely.
dodges it entirely. So the ability to question authority itself, when that happens, is a red flag. The ability to interrogate it when that becomes impossible is when authoritarian takes root.
Okay.
Authoritarianism takes root. So I'm pouring buckets of sweat.
You did fantastic. Thank you very much for coming on. That was a troubled maker, everyone. Is there anywhere that people can find you, or would you rather just this be your platform of sorts?
I mean, you can look for NYRA, which is youthrights.org.
Hmm.
But do know that I'm on here speaking as myself and my own opinions in this
Okay.
matter. I'm not representing NYRA in any way here.
How do you
Um,
spell that?
well, it's youthrights.org. So
Youthrights.org. Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
And there's a few blog articles that I've published, but I need to be working a little bit more on that. But because of battling hypercortisolism, that's kind of put a dent in things. But I'd love to come back on a little more recently than from last time, so that I can give in some more kind of targeted subject matter, and also hopefully I will have had some of my other meds picked up so that I make a little bit more sense.
Absolutely. We'll keep in touch. Just let me
You
know if you
better.
got any. we, I will do my best. I'm not always the best at responding, but I try
No, you're
my
not.
best. So I know I'm not. Trust me, you're not the only one. Um, well, I want to thank you very much for your time today. I'm sure everybody learned a thing or two, and yeah, it's always valuable having you on. So thank you again.
Right. Take it easy, everybody.
All right. You have a great night. Always lovely hearing from our friend, a troubled maker. I don't know if she's still here, and I apologize if she still is and listening. I just don't trust AI. So I was like I was diverting a little bit away from that because like I don't like call me like, call me crazy, but like you guys know my opinions on that. I don't trust it. I don't think it's good, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, it's here to stay, so I don't know. I don't know. You'd have to really convince me though. You'd have to really sell me on that. Anyway, I have been holding my pee for a long time, so I'm going to go do that real quick, and I will be right back. I'm back. Hello, everybody. Okay, I guess we should get into, IMO, the real problem with AI is capitalism. What's the point of having a computer generate stories and generate art? You know, like, I'm not against the concept of AI, like, helping people who need it. AI is kind of a bulk term anyway. So, like, I would have to look at... Hello, Data Basics. Hello, I would have to look at, like, the specific implementation of why it's being used. Like, what purpose does this bring to me and my life, or at least to society? You know, like anything. When AI-generated art first came out, I would, like, click, you know, I thought it was so cool. I was like one of those dumbasses who was like, oh my god, it's making the art and it looks so cool. I even had as my profile picture for the longest time an AI-generated, thank you, I know it's a cool shirt, an AI-generated image of myself as my profile picture, which is really lame and stupid, and now I can look back and recognize that. So I thought it was cool when it first came out, but now I'm understanding it is taking over like real art. It's not real art. It never will be. You can't convince me that it is. It is not real art. You can generate an image, and people argue sometimes in my comments and stuff about how, like, oh my gosh, if you generate an image, you can actually, like, touch it up or, like, work over it. And it's like, but you're starting from a pile of shit. You are putting sprinkles on a pile of shit is what you're doing when you do that. Like, why would you do that? I respect so much more a crappy drawing than I do an AI-generated piece of slop. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody here. That's just how I feel about it, and you'd have to do a lot of uphill work to get me to not believe that. AI art can be a helpful tool for those who can't create art to help conceptualize it. Disagree. 1000% disagree. That is the best argument that I've heard in favor of AI-generated art, and it still sucks ass. You know why? Figure it out. Just figure it out yourself. You know, okay, so you can't take what's in your brain and put it to paper. That's fine. Figure it out. Figure out how to do it. Okay? Sometimes the little mistakes that you make end up being features instead of flaws. You know that? Like, that's the human experience. My problem is you're taking so much humanity out of the humanities by making it not human. I use DeepSeek to generate translations. I'm a little bit less stiff about translating stuff. I'm a little bit less stiff about that. I have heard cases against using AI to translate stuff, but at the very least, that is like a purpose that it is serving, you know? Like, I'm not as like pissed off about that. I'm also dog shit at drawing. I've heard problems with that too, though. Like, sometimes things are lost in translation, etc. But, like, at least that is, like, useful, you know? Like, if you can get the general gist of what somebody's saying in another language, okay. Whatever. Because you strongly dislike the idea of concept sketches? It's not a concept sketch! What's doing the conceptualizing? Not you! You're not conceptualizing it, a computer's doing it for you. Like I said, it's going to be a big uphill battle to change my opinion on this. That's just how it is. I would not use AI for translating literature and stuff because I'm afraid it takes existing translations from others. Existing translations from the internet, sorry. I don't know. Like, I'd have to hear the argument against using it for translations. That's one area where I don't quite understand why it's bad. Trust me, I'll take any excuse I can get to shit on AI. I'll take any excuse I can get, but like, I don't see the argument against using it for translations. Yet. I'm sure one day I'll get there. Okay, a troublemaker, listen, I'm just warning you, if you come on next time and you try to convince me that AI is useful, it's gonna end up being a debate. It's gonna end up being a debate. And I love you very much, and I want you to know that going in, but that's what it'll end up being. You literally are conceptualizing it, though? No! Okay, if you are conceptualizing it, then every single time you put in a prompt, the computer should spit out the same thing. Why doesn't it? Why is it that I can put in the same prompt, press the same button 100 times, and it gives me 100 different results? Yeah, I can still be friends with people who like AI stuff. It's not a big deal. Like, I make it a big deal because, like, first of all, sometimes it is a big deal. But second of all, like, it's... Listen, we live in some radical times right now. I can't waste time cutting off friendships because they like AI. Like, I'll talk a big game, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. I could commission the same art piece from an artist 100 times and they'd put in spins on it. Yeah, human spins. Human details. Okay? I don't care what a machine has to offer me in terms of art. I could not give a shit less. I'm sorry. I just don't care. You cannot make... Listen, here, look, let me give you an example. Here's the Mona Lisa. On the left. On the right is a pile of shit that has been organized to resemble the Mona Lisa. Now, on the left here, I can look at this and interpret what the artist meant. Why with the heavy shading? Why no eyebrows? Like, that's an interesting detail. You know, there's got to be something to that. Like, what's with the expression? It's kind of like a smirk, maybe like, you know, like she knows something that I don't, or she's like looking into my soul a little bit or something. I don't know. Like, you know, what's this? What's the veil for? Like, what's the story with that? Like, is that a piece of the time? Is it? You know, like, let's look at the background. Like, why is she standing in front of a lake? You know, where is that lake? What meaning does that lake have to the original artist? You know what I see here? None of that! None of it! You know what I see here? A machine heard what you wanted to make, and it made it. It made what it thinks you wanted. Here you go! Eat up! Okay, I gotta be done. I'm gonna piss too many people off. I gotta be done. This is not what we're here to talk about. I gotta be done. I'm sorry. I have strong feelings about it. I'm sorry. Okay, if you're in my audience and you like AI for whatever reason, you're still welcome here. Just understand that I really disagree with you. It's segment time. We got to talk about people that I actually do hate. This song does slap. You guys can thank Jazz Dog for that. Yeah, go rest, the troublemaker. Go rest. You did good. I like AI in video games? No! That's all I'll say. If by AI in video games you mean like the traditional sense of AI, like with a code where they move back and forth, where they say certain things in response to your choice, like that kind of AI is fine. There are certain automations that you want in your NPCs. I get that. But when you start adding in like AI generated lines, for instance, AI generated lines, let's go with that. Complete bullshit. Okay, sorry. Okay, I understand what you mean, play. That's not like AI though. That's not what we're talking about. Because I have seen, like I watched Charlie, Moist Critical play an AI generative game, and it was dog shit. It was dog shit. So bad.
AI is bad. Even when it's helping people, people could do it better. AI literally has no upsides.
Thank you very much, Sakatanuki, for another 5 tier 1 gifted subs. I agree with you. I will add the caveat that AI means several different things depending on what the context is. But in terms of generative AI, I just don't think generative AI is at all useful for humanity. I don't understand its use. It only has upsides if you're a plagiarist. Or if you're like, this is a plagiarist, but like if you're in school, like in 5th grade and you need to finish your assignment, like kids use AI for that shit now, which is awful. They'll grow up and not have any writing skills or research skills or like original thoughts or ideas. When they're asked for an answer on something, they'll just be like, I wonder what Grok thinks about this. Bullshit, man. You can tell I'm almost 30. I'm getting old.
Wealth, fame, power.
All AI is bad for humanity, regardless of use. It's lazy.
Thank you for another 5 tier ungifted sub, Saga Tanuki. I appreciate you. But what I mean is, like, when I got confused earlier about, like, video game AI, what that person meant was, like, NPC behavior. Like, that's fine. That's coded. That is, like, you can basically predict what that character is going to do at any given moment because of its coding. That's fine. That's not generative AI. You know? I still think, I think AI is quite shit when it comes to drawings and images, but I do believe there are really stupid people on this planet. Yeah, generative AI is the problem. I like watching those neural networks, though. Here, let me show you an example. One thing before we finally get to the hate content. Hold on.
Wealth, fame, power.
Will Smith in AI was great. The actual modern use is so disappointing.
Like this guy's videos, AI Warehouse. I can get on with this. Like, this is fine. I think it's fun to watch a neural network learn how to walk. I don't know what use this has, but I can see why this is interesting. This is not generative AI. This is just a neural network. It's completely different. I like stuff like this. It's interesting. Yeah, exactly. AI is too broad a term. Exactly. If we do create a neural network and we can, does that mean we can create sentience eventually? Technically, listen, I don't know if you'll ever be able to convince me that a machine is alive. I just don't think that's possible. But technically, at some point in the future, like, yeah, I mean, if nature can create it, why can't humans? You know? But I don't know if you'd ever be able to convince me that a robot, for instance, is alive. I feel bad a little bit about it, but like, I just don't see myself ever believing it. Yeah, humans have some sort of secret sauce. I agree. Okay. Paid content. Enough stun lock. Let me clear off some tabs real quick. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up one more thing and then I'll start recording.
Problem with gay.
Okay.
Wealth, fame, power.
Like all the tech bro innovations, AI feels like the newest disappointing trend that will overpromise and underdeliver.
Thank you for another 5-tier-1 gifted sub, Socket Tanuki. I agree. I think the technology could have more uses if we, somebody said it earlier, if like it weren't dominated, if we weren't dominated by capitalism. Okay, let's go. I also want to keep going, Citrus. So a lot of people have seen the Jubilee panel with Sam Cedar against 20 conservatives, right? It's called Surrounded. And unfortunately, Jubilee are a bunch of shitheads who don't really let you cover it. Some YouTubers have managed to get around that and react to it anyway. I'm not one of those YouTubers. I don't really feel like taking the time to, like, you know, set up my little frame, or I'm not doing that. So whatever. I watched it independently, and Sam Cedar absolutely dominated the entire thing. Sam Cedar was fucking based. Uncle Sam, yes, he was one of the most brilliant.
Do you have a problem with?
Sorry about that. One of the most brilliant rhetoricians on the entire, in the entire left. Like, he's very good at speaking. This guy, his name is Eleazar Perez, and Eleazar, how the fuck Eleazar Perez, we're going to go with that. And he was one of the participants on Surrounded, and he thinks, and a lot of the conservatives who have covered him also think, that he dominated Sam Cedar. Now, I disagree, because Sam Cedar's prompt, actually, what was his prompt? Let me see his prompt real quick. Let me just double check his prompt.
That is a lot of children.
Here we go. So the prompt was, you can see it here, unless, well, it's hard to see, but unless you're a billionaire, religious fundamentalist, or a xenophobic nationalist, voting for Trump was a mistake. That was his prompt. So knowing that, let's see what Eleazar has to say.
Do you have a problem with gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem. I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good. Can you give me another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles? Are they born that way?
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society has decided...
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
Well, I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than...
Okay, so you're okay with a 45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well?
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society has also determined that it's not...
So as you can see already, we're like way off the topic, you know, like the original point was like voting for Trump was a mistake unless you are one of these things. And one of them was a religious fundamentalist, which of course this guy is. And he's proving that very well right now. So he's just proving Sam's point. Sam did not come here to debate the ethics of incest. He came here to prove the point that if you are that if you voted for Trump, you're probably one of these three things. And Eleazar Perez is proving that point as we speak.
Not beneficial.
Right, there's duties and obligations that we have. So religion provides those duties. Life isn't about
Well, but
freedom
also
and
I can-
exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you...
Life is not about freedom and exercising what you want. Very good.
your
Very good.
religious doctrine.
He won this,
because
by the
you just
way. He
admitted-
won.
You just admitted we need duties. We have responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?
If you enjoyed that, then make sure to...
So as you can see, he made a great point, right? Like, I guess he owned Sam Cedar in the marketplace of ideas. We can't have freedom, right? That's bad to have freedom, I guess. I wanted to go over another clip that somebody sent me. I haven't seen this one yet, but apparently this one's pretty egregious. It's from his Instagram. So he posts stuff like this. We'll go over a little bit of this freak's views. But he posts stuff like this on the regular on his Instagram.
It's the same way, even with complex issues. It's whatever
you
feel like you can put your faith in.
Do you believe in evolution?
I think probably, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
So if there was no objective purpose in life, the way things happened evolutionarily...
it's weird, right?
Yeah, because there had to be an objective purpose for one to propagate their genes, for one to discern or filter out the things that are bad and go for things that
He's holding a sign, by the way, that says abortion is murder, so that's
are
cool.
positive. There had to be an absolute purpose there. And then it kept going forward and forward. And there
just food for thought, 25% of all women in the United States have had an abortion at some point in their lives. So he thinks that they should all be locked up for murder.
was something that it was leading to ultimately.
It feels that way, yeah.
So if we build an economy like a society based off 10 people, and instead of us wanting to have money and be abundant and be able to spend and provide a good living for our family and a good living for us, we did the opposite, where we put everyone in massive amounts of debt. We made them miserable. There would still be a purpose there where we're kind of aiming towards something. There's a telos. So a telos is like there's a purpose that you have, like ontologically as humans, we have a state of being that we are, right? So you have...
He's such a fucking nerd, man. What the fuck is a telos? Is that a Pokemon? Who cares?
You have a function, you have a purpose. Every single part of your body, there's typically a purpose associated with it.
What is that grander purpose? Morality is the same way, even with...
I didn't get anything out of that, but apparently that was... Somebody sent me that. I didn't... They were just arguing about evolution, I guess, and like the purpose of life or something. There's no objective purpose to life, by the way. That's really fucking stupid to think that. I'm sorry. It just is. If you personally find a purpose in life, that's great, but there's no objective purpose. It's the park you were talking about earlier? The spark? Oh, the spark. Oh, that's what telos is? Oh, okay. Excuse me. Like when we're in that AI discussion, like that's kind of the human spark of life. Got it. It's just like, I don't know. We're going to go over this video of his. It's called Unhinged Student Attacks Me and Instantly Regrets It. Now, I will say, unfortunately, it is against the law to attack these people, okay? Even if they're holding signs that blatantly threaten the rights of the individuals around you. So I discourage you from attacking people as this person probably did. Honestly, just ignore these chuckle fucks. Like, if they're holding a sign like, and you'll see what sign he's holding in a second here. If you're holding a sign like what he's holding, just let him be the public fool, okay? Let him be the fool of the town square. He's not convincing anybody of anything, okay? He's got his little circle jerk, and like I said, he's just making an idiot of himself. So don't attack them. Don't do it.
No, because here's the thing,
okay,
idiot.
so they can both be emotional.
You'll just get yourself in trouble. Also, I should mention, grabbing something out of somebody's hands is considered assault. Don't do it.
You want to make me?
Why do you go out here harassing people?
Did I harass anyone?
What is harassing?
Have I harassed anyone?
I mean, you're harassing.
You came up to me.
Also, now
harassing.
Dense? Are you dense? Are you using linguistics.
I am trained. I can defend myself.
Sure.
And I don't want to get into that, bro. But you're
Yeah,
like,
don't
forcing
spit
me
on
to
him.
have
He
to
doesn't
almost get into
deserve it.
that. Are you pro LGBTQ? Are you guys supposed to be about love?
I'm choosing to stay.
Yes or no?
Oh, fuck you, man. Oh, aren't you supposed to be out of love? This is that meme. Well, here, it's the meme that conservatives share around all the time. Let me pull it up real quick. Where is it? I know I posted something on Twitter with it. Hold on. Here we go. So I made this. This is usually a right-wing meme, but I co-opted it. No, I'm not tolerant, and I have nothing but contempt for anyone who isn't a straight white guy. So yeah, this argument wouldn't work on me, but maybe if I use it on you, you'll do what I want. Also, I want to point out another meme. The tolerance paradox. I'm sure many of you have seen this before. I've personally pulled it up on stream many times. The paradox of tolerance. We should not tolerate people who are intolerant, because then that leads to them killing us and taking our rights. And then they, like, you can't have a tolerant society with intolerant people in it. You cannot tolerate intolerance. You can't do it. Okay? Really fucking stupid argument from this guy off the bat. Aren't you about love? Don't you love me? No. I don't.
What you are about to see is an unhinged, emotional college student that claims to be a man. Although you will see me look and sound angry, my goal when in these kind of situations, as I've been in many times, is to hold frame and to never show fear so my enemies don't double down on me. This was a very dangerous situation because for the 2 hours
hold
we were
frame,
there, we were yelled at
bros.
left and right
Hold
because of my
frame.
extreme sign, and the people in this video you are about to see were very angry, and in my opinion, they were willing to take extreme measures to express that anger. With that said, if you want to donate to support my work, I really need your help so I can travel
such
more,
a fucking
hire some
nerd.
security, and provide the damn best.
People actually give money to this guy. By the way, I'm pretty sure he's shown video of his house. Let me see if I can pull it up. Sorry, I keep pausing. I know I've seen video of his house. Hold on. Maybe not. I could be wrong, but if I recall correctly, he is a wealthy individual. Do not give him money.
Street debate content you will ever watch, because I need that moolah. So I'll leave the links down below, and if you don't wish to donate or can't, at least like the video, Fulios. With that said, enjoy. Daniel, you pumped?
Yes, I'm pumped. Let's go.
Look, I love that. Show him your shirt.
Depression is not real.
Where can they
Very
buy it?
nice. Little anti-science. Very good.
Brutally honest help,
We
guys.
fucking hate people with depression. We want them to die. Very good. Very
we're
good.
here, guys, at USC. It is beautiful here. It's a sunny day. We're pumped. We got the sign, women should not vote, and abortion is immoral. And yes, that is his sign. He's debated it.
We hate women. Very good.
No, you don't.
We want to own women as slaves and concubines and conquer them and make them our sex slaves. Very good.
You
We love
just
that.
conceded that pragmatically. Hey, shut up, man. Go. You're feminine. You're feminine. Go away. You're feminine. Go away. Yeah, be a man. Go away. See how that's how you shut him down. They're betas. Yeah, we need strong men.
Yeah, they're the betas. That's right, man. Yeah, okay. I could throw you sopping wet across a fucking football field, dude.
Hey,
Shut
you
the
just
fuck
said,
up.
you just said, pragmatically, if it's better for society for women not to vote, you would probably be okay with that.
Dude, you're not listening to me. I also don't want to.
You don't understand.
You were very rude to someone.
I don't care. Yeah, you're emotional. That's why women shouldn't vote. They're emotional. Thanks for proving my point.
Unlike this guy.
Yes, when you're on your period, you change as a person. So yes.
I don't want to give you more.
What?
Am I being recorded, by the way?
Of course.
I'm being recorded?
Of course.
Dude, how about you bleed out your dick once a month? See how you feel, right? Shut the fuck up.
I don't need your consent. No expectation of privacy in public. You should know this.
Yeah, but California's a two-party consent state in terms of.
In public.
Is that
in public? Wait, in public?
Yeah.
He is correct. That's why you just don't approach these people. If you don't want to be on video, just don't approach them. Leave them alone. Let them rot, okay?
Are you sure? Is this a public university? Is this a public walkway?
So how it works is if you're recording me specifically,
yes.
I have to get consent. In states like, for example, Alabama, it's a one-party consent.
Not in public. There's cameras all around.
He is right.
Why are you acting like you're so smart and you don't know the simple? Like, you should know this. This is public property. You don't have expectation of privacy.
Hang on, 1 second.
No, because she's making an affirmative that she can't defend.
Excuse me, you're being rude.
Look,
You're being
you came up to the camera, you saw the cameras after you lost the debate. Now you're asking, am I being
Yeah, what is this fit? Did his mommy dress him up? Like, what the fuck?
recorded? Of course you are.
So, from what I understood about your perspective, in your household, you would not want your wife.
This is obvious rage bait. Can we not fall for it? No. Like, I just, listen. Let me make some slop, okay? Let me fucking make some React slop for once, okay?
To have a say in the final decision making.
It would.
She's a woman and she's a hormone.
Maybe I want to be rage baited.
You don't know, and she's your wife, and you have kids together.
No, I already established this. Like, were you listening when I said?
Also, don't forget these are the people who rule you now.
That one household, one vote.
Fame, power.
Laugh at them non-stop from a distance and don't stop until they get uncomfortable and move.
Yeah, thank you very much, Saki Tanuki, for another 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Appreciate you. Another idea I've had, if you really want to piss them off, is just blast copyrighted music. That's a great idea. If you just blast copyrighted music in their vicinity, they can't use any of the footage. They're forced to move.
Yes. So obviously, if I was saying women should not vote, I wouldn't want my wife to vote.
Because she's a woman and she has hormones. You do not want your wife.
It's not reduced to just hormones, though. Hormones can be a component of it, sure, but it's not reduced to.
You just said women are so emotional.
Look,
that's why they should not vote. Those are your
I was
words.
chirping back at him. Like, it's fun. It's not so.
Here's my argument. So what if women are emotional? Lots of people are emotional all the time. Guess what? Men commit way more domestic abuse than women do. Is that not emotional to you? It's very emotional. You just don't see it as emotional, quote unquote, because it's a man like taking control of his woman, his female that he dominates over, which is disgusting and perverted. And I think you're perverted.
Serious.
Those are your words.
Yes, but when I said make me a sandwich, I'm obviously not being serious.
That is reflecting your Christianity, your faith.
Yes, and now the
so
moral
funny,
indignation's coming in when you guys were also going against me. And this guy, you guys were on his side. Look,
I don't think I've been rude. Do you think?
You know what joke I've never heard before? Woman make sandwich. I've never heard that. That's original.
But you
That's
guys
good.
have
been nothing but polite.
At the end, you're just like being disingenuous. You don't know when life at conception begins, and you're also saying that you have an expectation of privacy in public, and you don't. So it's just disingenuous to me.
So is that comparative to being rude?
It doesn't matter. It's just disingenuous.
So it doesn't matter if you explain things about things that you don't know.
I'm sorry. These girls are wasting time. You're wasting time. Just walk away. Walk away. Like, this guy is a nobody. Why are you wasting time on him?
Yeah.
Versus if you yell at people.
He's a fucking roach.
But when I yell, it's not like out of emotions. It's like I just love yelling. Like, and when I'm debating, it's just fun.
So you love yelling.
Think of it this way. Would you stop and argue with a fucking cockroach that you see on the sidewalk? No, you wouldn't. Treat these people no differently.
Which is an emotion, you fucking dingus.
No, because I don't lose control of my emotions. Like you lose control of your emotions.
I am so mad at you right now, and that's fucking okay. Because if I'm a man and I can be emotional, then women cannot be emotional. Because here's the thing.
Okay, you know what? Usually I'm against getting emotional, but he's making a good point.
Okay, so they can both be emotional.
Talking fast
back up.
Means that
Whoa, hold up. Like, actually, this guy kind of touched him first.
Hey, back the fuck before I beat the fuck out of you.
Hey,
I'll beat the fuck out of you right now. Yeah, I'll beat the fuck out of you. You just
Sure you will, man.
Yeah.
It's not a relax.
Yeah. You're an emotional bitch. That's what you are.
Yeah.
You're a student. Yes, and I got it. So thanks again.
He's just getting
Man, I know you're trying to get laid. Yes, I'm good, brother. Thank you, man.
You okay, man?
Don't worry about it,
man.
What's your name?
My name's Thomas.
It's nice to meet you.
Thomas.
Here's the fucking thing, and you can put it on your fucking channel.
Yes, put it.
This guy's a fucking.
I'm not scared of you.
You don't have to be.
I'm not scared of you.
You don't have to be scared.
I'm not scared of anybody here.
That's fine.
Yes.
I'm not trying to.
You're an emotional girl.
I'm an emotional man.
You're a man?
No true Scotsman fallacy. Sound the alarm. No true Scotsman fallacy. You're emotional, so you're not a real man. I'm sorry. I thought that we were of the belief that you're a man if you're an adult human male or whatever, and you have a dick and balls. Okay, he's probably got a dick and balls if I had to guess. He hasn't indicated otherwise. Maybe he's a trans man. Who's to say? But you know, most men are cis men, so I'm willing to say that he is probably a cis man with a dick and balls. I just thought that people with dick and balls were men. No true Scotsman fallacy. No true Scotsman.
And I'm fucking emotional.
That's a fallacy.
Because that's fucking okay.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I thought we were debate bros here. I thought we were like logical debate bros here.
Back it up. So you want to argue or do you want to fight?
I don't want to fight you.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
I didn't touch you.
Yeah, bro.
That's true. He did not.
If you're walking towards me, that's a threat.
How was that a threat?
That's a threat. You could have a gun. You could have a knife. You could punch me. I've been assaulted. I've been assaulted.
Oh, you're such a fucking pussy, man. You are such a you're literally stating for your own audience that you are scared of this guy. You are such a pussy.
While doing this,
I'm not gonna assault you.
Okay, go look up the statues. If you're walking up to
you could have a gun.
I could take that as a threat. And technically, I could defend myself if I wanted to defend myself.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm not getting close to you anymore.
Okay, and so why did you just rip up my sign?
Because it's fucking wrong.
Okay, but why are you a fascist? Why don't you let me
If I had it my way, I would say that it is fine to like take signs away like this from people. I think that's fine. I don't think that like spreading the idea that we should subjugate women is an okay thing to do. And taking away women's rights to vote is one of those things that subjugates them and makes them like, it dehumanizes them. I think that it, like, societally speaking, like, we just shouldn't allow it. We shouldn't allow it. A tolerant society cannot allow intolerance.
Disagree with you. Why don't you disagree with me? So why are you tearing up my property?
Because it's wrong and you shouldn't be spreading this hate.
If I had a pro-choice sign right now, you would be okay with it.
No.
Yes, you would.
Yeah, because you're not telling women that they can't fucking vote, man. Yes, correct. You're right. I would be okay with it. Okay? Yes.
I would not be okay with you insulting people as they're walking by.
Okay, but you're okay when he insults me, right? So there's a double standard.
Yes.
Yes, you know what I
Because
am.
you're a fucking
Look, he's
idiot.
right here. So that's a double standard.
Okay.
Yes.
Your sign's looking a little fucked up, buddy.
Yeah, it was $10 on Staples stuff.
Right if we played some copyrighted music into your microphone real
There we go. There we go. We got one.
Are you good though? Because we can shake hands if you're okay. I don't have any hate in my heart.
No, you don't have any hate in your heart.
That's the answer. Copyrighted music. Blast it.
You want to make me?
Blast it.
You want to make me?
You want to fight a kid?
You're a kid? Then why are you acting tough? Then why are you acting tough?
We need to hire people. We need you know what we need? We need a social fund for people like this person to just follow this guy and just like blast copyrighted music into his microphone. I would fund that.
Are you a man? Hey, are you a man? Are you a man?
Are you harassing me? Because I will fucking report
Go report it.
I will.
Go.
I will.
Have me off campus, public property. Go.
Oh my god.
Go.
I'm not reporting you to the...
Oh, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm reporting you.
Hey man, are you good though?
No.
Okay, so you're still angry?
Yes.
I think what he's doing would fall under public nuisance, personally. I think that's an arrestable offense.
Okay, so why do you have hate in your heart?
I thought you said you were gonna fucking leave.
Yeah, I can leave when I want though.
Get out of here.
Make me.
Get out
Make
of here.
me.
I'm not gonna
Make
fight
me.
you.
Make
you
me.
Fight me.
You're telling me to leave. Make me. I want to see you act tough. Make me.
I'm not gonna fight
Make
you.
me.
I'm not gonna fight you.
Hey, if you touch my shit, you're getting sued.
Hey.
Okay, here. You want my whole sign? Do you want my whole sign? Do you want my whole sign? Here, if you guys are happy, hey, don't touch my, hey, don't let him touch my stuff, Danny. Okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll stop. Okay, we'll get away from me because I can take this as a threat. I take this as a threat, and I can defend myself.
See, when you do stuff like this, it's just content for them. It's just content. Like, I feel them and I understand, but like, this is just content for them. They want you to do this. It's rage bait. Somebody said it earlier. It's rage bait.
I can legally, you're coming to my property. You're in a threatening manner. I can defend myself legally. So
if it weren't, he wouldn't have kept it in. He would have cut it out.
Get away from me.
This guy's gonna hit me.
No, I'm not gonna hit you. Hey, I'm not gonna hit you. I don't need.
I came here for like an actual debate about why he thinks that women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
To hit you. I don't need to hit you.
Huh? Hidden in the bushes for these type of reasons. So
we have more. We have GoPros.
You're so smart. Yeah. So is this your job?
Hey,
is this your job?
Hey, it doesn't matter what it is.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
Did I harass anyone? How are we infringing on your business any more than you infringe on any? I'm not claiming legal fucking definition of harassment, man.
Oh, so now it's...
Sure. Okay.
And I don't want to get into that, bro, but you're like forcing me to have to almost get into.
If you're scared.
Yeah. Why do you need my age? Why do you need my name?
I want to know your age because I want to know why it's your mission.
Yeah, this whole thing is like, oh my God, they're harassing me. Look at the liberals. This is useless to me. I need juice. I need the juice. Okay? We're just going to make this an extra long segment because I need the juice. How did Jubilee allow this person on? Because Jubilee is fucking right-wing. Nobody wants to admit it. They act like centrists, just like every right-winger does, and they fucking act like, you know, Sam Cedar is just one of the, you know, people putting their ideas out there, just like Michael Knowles, right? He has no juice. I need the debate juice. I need to, like, I watched part of one of his videos. I watched the student debates why kids should be able to transition a little bit. I need the juice. You mispronounced fascist. Here, let's see if this is like...
hires, the women hires were horrible. They didn't even know what
Here we
planet they
go.
were on.
Okay, and the men did.
What?
Did you not see the video how the women...
Wait, what was his evidence of that? What? Here, this is a great one. I do need to go to the bathroom again real quick, so let me do that, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Indeed, frying chicken. Okay, so I decided actually what I want to do is I want to go over this one that I watched a little bit of, because you know what, I thought about it while I was on the pisser. I'm like, you know what, it's really easy to go over the ones where he's just rage baiting and holding a sign that says women should not vote, right? Like, that's easy, okay? We all know that women are humans, except for him, of course, and his audience. But most of us, the ones with 2 brain cells or more, know that women are humans and they deserve rights and they deserve to be treated equally. This one's a little more difficult. Student debates why kids should be able to transition. Now, this one's more contentious. This one's a little bit harder to defend. I feel like challenging myself a little, okay? I feel like contending with some of the points he has in this, because like I said, I watched about the first 4 minutes of it, looked into some stuff, and I have some thoughts. So this is the one that I decided I want to go over. I will keep the rest of it in, though. We'll just make this an extra long segment, I guess. And we'll we'll have fun with it. So let's just go
I think
over it.
15-year-olds can make decisions for themselves that are well enough informed.
Do you read?
So already we're starting off with painting this guy to be a pedophile. When and this is a tactic that you're going to see him use through this video, is conflating medical consent with sexual consent. Everybody knows that those two things are different. It is only disingenuous fucktards like this guy, I'm sorry to say it, it just is what it is, who like to say that like there's a similarity, okay? So I shouldn't say that word, I'm sorry, it just came out. I need to stop. But anyway, like literally like just people like this guy think that like those two are interchangeable. Or I tried to tell you, they're lying of course, that yeah, fuck tarts, right? Yeah. They try to conflate the two because that's like how they get you, right? They paint you as a pedophile. It's a disingenuous tactic.
Do you think that they're going to know through in their mind what they're actually consenting to when they do that?
Yes.
So would you say that we should lower the drinking age limit as well?
No, because drinking can be harmful to people.
And transitioning kids can't, like cutting off their penis, their ability to... That's...
So we don't cut off kids' penises. That's a myth. That we don't do that. Like... The underage surgical procedures that we give kids is usually like the overwhelming majority of the time it has to do with their breasts. Okay, and we'll get into that a little bit.
That's not harmful?
I would say it's much more harmful to drink as a young age than transition.
The number one thing we are constantly told is trust the...
Another thing that they'll often do is they'll say transition as in the surgical procedures when like between the ages of like 4 and 12, all that means is like changing your name, dressing up as the other gender, you know, stuff like that.
The experts. Well, one of these experts is Harry Benjamin, and in 1979,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Guitar Rocker.
he founded the Harry Benjamin International Gender Dysphoria
I don't know why I started
Association.
saying that recently. I need to stop.
That's a long name, but in 2007...
Why am I only hearing that? Is everybody else only hearing this out of the left ear? Hello?
This became WPATH. Harry Benjamin is one of the most prominent figures when it comes to pushing the ideology of gender dysphoria. As a matter of fact, he was the first one that really proposed this idea of treating these patients with psychotherapy, hormonal treatments, and in some cases, gender-affirming surgeries. He also created
heavens
the Benjamin
forbid.
Standards of Care, which now under WPATH is SOC, the Standards of Care. So what does this mean? This means that they are the professionals.
I forget if I looked into Mia Hughes at all. Let me look into Mia Hughes. Here we go. Senior Fellow at MacDonald Laurier Institute, Director of GenSpect Canada, co-host of Beyond Gender, author of the WPATH Files. What are her credentials? Does she have any? The epidemic of young people identifying as trans in the last decade is a culture-bound syndrome that can only exist in a nation touched by modern trans activism. When we started bombarding kids with the pseudoscientific idea that it is possible to be born in the wrong body, we untethered them from reality during a this is all jargon. This is just stupid fucking jargon. None of this is scientific. None of this is based in any kind of reality of what trans kids need, of what gender-affirming care entails. Like, she's just another pundit. That's all this is. Why would I trust her? She has no credentials, nothing. Like, who is she? Why do I give a shit what she thinks? I don't care. So she hates trans people and wrote a book about it. Great. Who cares?
They are the experts. You know, the psychiatrists and psychologists, the ones that we call the experts, these experts go to these experts. That's how good they are. Well, supposedly. In 2022, they were leaked internally. They were exposed, and you can find this. This is the thing that I'm showing you on the screen right now. You can go look this up on Google and read it yourself. It's a 249-page document.
Hell no.
A lot of crazy stuff in there. But basically, ever since this came out, a lot of countries decided to abandon WPATH. But I reference this a lot in my debate that you're about to watch, and I want you to at least get a little bit of an understanding of what it is, what I'm talking about, and maybe educate yourself on your free time. But with that said, kick your feet up, lay back, get some popcorn, and enjoy. Oh, and also, happy Thanksgiving.
I hate his voice.
Enjoy
I hate
a
his
fat
voice.
turkey.
I hate
My
his
position
voice
is kids can't
so much.
they don't know what they're consenting to. So if I tell a kid that we're going to chop off his penis and he can't.
Kids consent to medical care all the time, okay? Typically with also parental consent. But a parent can't consent to a child having sexual relations with another adult, regardless of what their parents think. In fact, you would arrest those parents and the person trying to assault that child, okay? You would arrest both of the parties. So if we are really going to sit here and compare medical consent to sexual consent, which is what you're doing, then what you're saying is that children also can't get vaccines or antibiotics or Tylenol for when they have a headache, which you probably also believe. I wouldn't doubt it, because you just seem like you just hate science, which is fine.
Can't have kids in the future. He can hear those words, but he doesn't know what it actually is encompassing of. The other thing is there's no scientific consensus. So when adults say that there's science that
there is a scientific consensus on transgender care and gender affirming care. Like all of the major medical organizations agree. I mean, let me pull it up. Let's pull up the list, shall we? I love this list. Medical organization statements. Leading medical groups recognize the medical necessity of treatments for gender dysphoria and endorse such treatments. Most of these groups have also explicitly rejected insurance exclusions for transgender-related care. American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, American Academy of Dermatology, American Academy of Family Physicians, American Academy of Nursing, Pediatrics, Physician Assistants, Nurse Midwives, Physicians, Obstetricians and Gynecologists, Student Association, Nurses Association, Psychiatric Association, Psychological Association, Public Health Association, Society of Plastic Surgeons, Endocrine Society, Health Professionals Advancing LGBTQ Equality, National Association of Nurse Practitioners in Women's Health, National Association of Social Workers, and on and on and on. All of these organizations all agree trans care is great, trans care is POG, all the research backs up trans care. But no, we have to listen to this guy who thinks that incest is the same as getting gay married. Good stuff.
that backs up evidence for this, that kids are doing the right thing, that it is safe, it is effective. It's not backed by anything. It's just sociological studies that cannot be substantiated. So when
okay, let's not substantiate it then, shall we? Gender identity 5 years after social transition. Methods. The present study examined the rate of retransition in current gender identities of 317. That's a lot. Initially transgender youth, 208 transgender girls, 109 transgender boys. Median is 8.1 years at start of study. Participating in a longitudinal study, the Trans Youth Project. Data were reported by youth and their parents through in-person or online visits or via email or phone correspondence. We found that an average of 5 years after their initial social transition, 7.3% of youth had retransitioned at least once. At the end of this period, most youth identified as binary transgender youth, 94%, including 1.3% who retransitioned to another identity before returning to their binary transgender identity. So they were, experimenting a little bit. Not a big deal. 2.5% of youth identified as cisgender and 3.5% as non-binary. Later cisgender identities were more common amongst the youth whose initial social transition occurred before age 6 years. The retransition often occurred before age 10. Conclusions. These results suggest that retransitions are infrequent. More commonly, transgender youth who socially transitioned at early ages continue to identify that way. Nonetheless, understanding retransitions is crucial for clinicians and families to help them make as smooth as possible for youth. So there you go. That's just one study on a mountain, okay? Like, I could pull up so many more.
You say backed by anything,
but there's no data. There's no data.
It helps them.
Don't believe your lying eyes, guys.
Essentially.
Yeah, that, and there's also no proof that, like, if you say, hey, I don't like my thumb, it's a healthy limb, and I'm not happy with it, it's not a part of my identity.
So I did a little bit of research on this one as well. Body integrity identity disorder. So I bookmarked a... Where's it at? Well, I thought I bookmarked it, maybe not. So I did a little bit of research on this one, and they like to disingenuously bring this one up as well. I'm sorry I'm pausing and explaining so much of this, but I think it's important for you guys to know how to arm yourselves against shit like this. I think that this is a fair disorder to compare gender identity disorder to, because there are similarities. What's not fair about it is there have been a few hundred documented cases in recorded history of this occurring. People who think that their thumb doesn't belong, people who think their entire arm doesn't belong, things of that nature, right? And what we found is that nothing really helps them. Nothing, really. We tried antidepressants, we've tried antipsychotics, we've tried therapy, we've tried electroconvulsive stuff, you know, all kinds of things. Nothing works. They still think that their their limb is alien, okay? And they want to get rid of it. So medical institutions don't really know what to do at this point, for both the reason that nothing seems to help and that there haven't been that many cases in order for them to study it. So there are case studies. Many of which the people tried to amputate their own limbs and fucking die. Okay. So it seems by some doctors who study this in depth that the best response is to amputate the limb. Imagine that. Sometimes that really just is the best response, because the alternative is that you keep cutting at it and you keep cutting at it and you keep getting infected and you risk your systemic infection and death. And you know, you risk bleeding out because you keep cutting at it and you keep trying to get rid of it and you keep bleeding out because you just want to get rid of it, you know, like, and nothing helps, nothing helps, nothing helps. So my question is, if you're so concerned about this particular disorder, you're such an expert on this disorder, right? What's the solution? What's your solution? What do you think? What should we do for these people? Should we put them in straitjackets and just lock them away in fucking cells forever so that they don't hurt themselves? That doesn't sound like a very good life to me. In my opinion, maybe we should just lop off the fucking limb and let them live their lives. Because in most circumstances, when they actually do that, it causes the least amount of harm and they can get on with their goddamn lives. But these people don't actually care about people like that. They just bring this up as a gotcha. They'll say literally anything to push their identity on to push their ideology onto you and force you into it.
There's no proof that
it's
if you cut this thumb
disingenuous.
off, you're gonna feel like the right person now.
That's true. I wouldn't say that there's any proof, but this is something you can't really prove something like that. You can't prove feelings because it's just what people say.
Exactly.
I would say what I'll say is that people more often regret having hip surgery than transitioning. It's
true.
An under 1% regret rate.
Yeah.
Which is, again, not something
that's not a lie. That's literally true.
That you can like prove. But when you ask somebody about that, they don't have
no source, just calling it a lie.
Yes, even though it's not true. So what I would say is it helps people mentally, which is again something that you can't. It's not something you can prove, but it's just helping people feel better about themselves. I wouldn't say there's anything wrong.
Wait, can we have the delineation? I'm not talking about adults. So even though I understand the example, that one's adults. Mine's for kids because they do not know what they're consenting to.
Okay. Well,
that's not true. Kids know what they're consenting to when it comes to trans care, okay? And they still, most of the time, need parental consent. Now, if I were the doctor in this situation, and my understanding is that this child is trans and their parents are horrifically transphobic, I'm probably going to report them to CPS and say, you know what? Actually, I'm not sure if these parents are capable of taking good care of this child. They don't seem to understand the care of this child. I mean, it's the same thing if like the child had cancer and the parent, which, you know, happens in religious fundamentalism. If you didn't know that, often there are parents who don't think that their children should get treatment for cancer. They'll just pray to God for it, right? Oh, God will help us, right? No, actually, he won't. He'll let your kid fucking die of cancer because your God sucks ass. Just letting you know that. But anyway, I would personally call CPS and have this child reconsidered for the treatment against the parents' wishes. If it came to that, I would. I think that's fine.
What I'd say is,
like, do you think a kid?
Parents are not healthcare
If you were
professionals.
to tell them, hey, I'm going to chop off your breast because you don't feel like you're the right person.
I would say, depending on how old the kid is. I think if you're going to go
11.
11,
yeah,
I don't.
Does not happen. There have been like almost, there's like a handful of recorded cases, which by the way, let's say that you have an 11-year-old with like E-cups, you know, what, you don't think they should get a breast reduction? What? Like, come on, let's be real here.
I think it depends on the kid. I think there are some 11-year-olds who could understand that, and if they really truly feel that way, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I also think that I don't know how common it is for 11-year-olds to have.
So this is something I also look into. This is from a website called, what was it called again? Hold on, let me look it up real quick. I made a tweet about this. Let me just save myself some time. Here we go. So the tweet I made was, so this guy's a street interviewer who debates university students mostly on issues of queerness. He overlays the interviews with facts and data that he gathers, quote-unquote facts and data, of course, that he gathers largely from hate group sites. Nonetheless, it is impressive how dedicated he is to the craft. I will hand him that. For instance, he gets data from a website called Stop the Harm Database, which uses public NPI info to tally the total number of sex change procedures on minors. However, these procedures don't differentiate between things like genital sex change or mastectomy. So as you can see, this is I forget which state this is from, but I think it's Ohio. Yeah, this is Ohio. Total sex change patients, 1,009. Now, if you're an idiot, you'll look at this and think, wow, 1,009 sex change surgeries on minors. Whoa, that's crazy, man. And then, of course, they also put the charge down here because they obviously believe in socialized healthcare, so they don't believe that anything should be charged for. Oh, no, wait, I'm wrong. They actually don't believe in socialized healthcare. They actually want to charge the shit out of you for everything that's not trans care. But, you know, that's
hey,
fine,
kids.
I guess.
What's up?
Why is that song playing? I disabled
Welcome.
that.
Jeffrey Bezos can eat a dick. Here comes the communist. Welcome. Let's hope that universal healthcare covers indigestion once we eat the rich. Woo!
That was a raid alert. That was supposed to be disabled. Thank you very much for the raid. Who raided me? Who was the raid from? I apologize for the interruption. It was just supposed to be Sonic saying, hey, kids. And I don't know why it did that. I'll fix that later. Anyway, what I was saying is, the bottom line is, it doesn't take into account the fact... Here, let me just go to the next tweet. Interesting to note, they don't take this into account either. Only 1 out of 1 million children. 1 out of 1 million. Children receiving any sort of gender-affirming care, surgery, were aged 13 to 14. And 0 were below the age of 13 in this study. Finally, 146 out of 151, otherwise known as 97% of breast reduction surgeries, are performed on cisgender male children with gynecomastia. 97%. Now, I wonder if this guy's okay with surgical procedures on children with gynecomastia, young males with gynecomastia. That's probably fine, right? Because it's normal. It's normal for boys to not have breasts, right? That's the normal thing. I'm sure that this debate champ would have a very solid and substantiated argument against or for his support of gynecomastia procedures on young males. I'm sure he would, I'm sure he'd be able to explain that very well. Maybe he's watching this. If you're watching this, man, I'd love to know your answer to that.
Transgenders.
Anyway, this website's bullshit. It's propaganda. Don't listen to it. It's we have actual studies from actual people who actually care about trans people and their well-being.
Okay, so this would be like...
Thank you very much for the raid to Dr. C. We appreciate you.
They'll say, I don't know how common it is for women to get an abortion at 9 months. My argument there wouldn't be how many people do it. It's should we put a law in place that allows them to do it, right? It's a moral aspect of it.
I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're not...
So, an abortion that takes place at 9 months, here's another common misconception. Women don't carry fucking babies for 9 months and then say, kill it. Kill it, actually. That doesn't happen. Never has happened, okay? This is putting blame on the woman. It's calling women crazy. It is just a misogynistic idea that they're trying to stick into your head of like, well, all these women are trying to get their babies killed at 9 months of pregnancy after going through 9 months of fucking hell, okay, carrying this thing, right? This parasite inside of their body. Now they want to kill it, right? Yeah, that makes sense, man. No, when those abortions take place, you know why? It's because it's going to kill the mom if they don't. Okay? And that's fine with them. They're fine with women dying. They don't care about women. They're fine with women dying. They're fine with women being sex slaves and not being allowed to vote, being subjugated by men who their only purpose is to have like 50 concubines and fuck them and impregnate them. They're disgusting. These are disgusting roach people, okay? Don't listen to them.
I'm talking about the should. Should we?
Right, I see what you're saying. I don't think there's anything wrong with having people who are transgender at any age express that. Nine
True.
would be okay.
I mean, again, if you're talking with, I think at 9 you need to have a conversation with the parents as well.
Yeah.
We need to normalize eye cups in 12-year-old boys. These content creators unironically need to be negged once they're triggered.
Thank you very much for another 5 gifted sub, Dr. Tanuki. I agree. I agree with, what's his name again? Eleazar Perez. Eye cups in 12-year-old boys with no breast reductions. We must go by natural anatomy. Eye cups in 12-year-old boys. No surgical reductions, not allowed. You just get to live with your boy eye cups. Yes, I agree.
At a certain
So
age,
15, they wouldn't need.
That's normal.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think 15-year-olds can make decisions for themselves.
That is true. In many states, you are allowed as a 15-year-old to make certain medical decisions for yourself. You are allowed to consent. That is true.
That are well enough informed that they can do what they want.
So do you think like they're actually mature enough at that age, 15, to be able to make logical decisions? Yeah, life-changing decisions.
You can be tried as you can be tried as an adult.
Medical decisions, yes.
Not in general, but
In a lot of states, you're allowed to get birth control without your parents' consent at the age of 15. Yes.
I think that as somebody grows up, especially having lived 15 years knowing this, because people know this for a very long time, they don't just feel transgender.
True.
I'm gonna go get the surgery. It doesn't happen.
Wait, you know what's funny about that? The other.
What is this? What is this? He's sneaking in here. What's more, WPATH is aware that this experiment is not just confined to minors. In the adult chapter of SOC 8, the authors state that the criteria in this chapter have been significantly revised from SOC 7 to reduce requirements and unnecessary barriers to care. That's great. Reduce barriers. Because guess what? Ask any he's never talked to a trans person, by the way. Ask any not with any degree of seriousness. Ask any trans person how easy it was to get their care. Ask them. I guarantee you that not a single one of them, unless they're a detransitioner, not a single one of them will say, yeah, I walked into the office and they lopped my penis and balls off the same day. Yeah. Reduce barriers.
The person that I was talking to, like 2 people ago, she was transgender, and she told me about how she went to Planned Parenthood. They did.
Hold on. We have the anecdote. Anecdote alert. Uh-oh. Ring the alarm again. Anecdote alert. Anecdote alert. That's a fallacy, my friend.
I'm gonna go get the surgery. It doesn't happen.
Or at least it has the potential to be a fallacy.
What's
We'll
funny
see how
about
he
that, the
uses
other
it.
person that I was talking to, like 2 people ago, she was transgender, and she told me about how she went to Planned Parenthood. They did like a survey, and then she got on cross-sex hormones after that.
Yeah.
So even though you're
works.
no, but
even
even though
but she didn't like one day feel like, oh, yep, and then immediately that next day go. She felt like that for a long time.
even if that was the case, they didn't evaluate her for how long it's been going on.
That doesn't. That yeah.
You know what I needed to get on testosterone? I need to make a phone call, have an in-person appointment, and then I got my T. Oh yeah, and labs. I had to get my labs drawn. But then I got my T. That's how easy it was for me, a cis guy. It should be exactly the same for trans guys. Exactly the same. And not making it exactly the same is called transphobia. That's called transphobia.
Yeah, but that's not part of what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
I didn't have to prove that I'm a guy. I didn't have to prove. They didn't look at my dick and balls.
Feel trans. Feel like, oh, I don't feel good Monday. Tuesday, go get a.
They didn't look at my dick and balls, which are massive, by the way. They didn't look at my genetic code to make sure I'm X and Y. No, I just got on it. No proof required.
Survey. Wednesday, you're transgender. It'll be something that's happened throughout your life. And if it's only been going on for a day, you're not going to go immediately get the surgery.
I understand that, but my thing is with kids, their feelings.
God, I hate this. According to the APA, American Psychiatric Association, characteristics for the person to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, there must be a marked difference between the individual's expressed/experienced gender and the genders others would assign him or her, and it must continue for at least 6 months. In children, the desire to be of the other gender must be present and verbalized. This condition causes clinically significant distress. Yeah, this is all correct. This is all just correct information that he is sharing. What's his point?
Are going to be persistent, right? Even if they feel like they're a boy or they feel like the opposite sex, their feelings, especially since they're young, they're malleable, they're not going to know exactly what's right and what's wrong. And if I were to tell them, hey, you're not going to be able to have
what's right and what's wrong. Hold on. How do you define what's right and what's wrong? What do you mean by those statements? Those are very broad, sweeping statements, my friend. I personally thought that he was like the debate champion. I thought that he was like the logical guy.
You know
right?
what's the real fallacy? Dicks.
True. Very phallicological. Thank you very much for another 5 to get this up. You're being very kind, Sagi Tanuki. Love you very much.
Kids in the future, you're not going to be able to have a family. Do you really think that they're going to know in their mind what they're actually consenting to when they do that?
Can we stop watching this? The misogyny segment already permanently fouled up my thought of him. Let's give it until 10 minutes. I really do think that it is valuable to know how to disarm these arguments.
Yes.
So would you say that we should lower the drinking age limit as well?
No, because drink.
He just said that, hold on. He just said that kids can consent. Consent to what? Consent to what? Sex? No, I don't think so. He never said that. He's not a fucking pedophile, man. I know that you like to say that he's a pedophile because you're a disingenuous piece of fucking shit. Okay? I know that. But he said they consent to some medical care, which is true. Look it up. Look it the fuck up, you dumbass.
Drinking age limit as well?
No, because drinking can be harmful to people.
And transitioning kids can't, like cutting off their penis?
Idiot!
That's not harmful?
I would say it's...
God, what is this now? A WPATH member reports to a young patient experiencing vaginal pain on testosterone. Hello, does anyone have insight on vaginal estrogens for vaginal/pelvic pain/spotting in patients on testosterone? I have a young patient on testosterone for 3 years who saw me after empiric PID treatment in the ER. None of his symptoms resolved, and all of his testing and imaging is normal. He has atrophy with a persistent yellow discharge we often see as a result. Amenorrhea for the past 3 years and using Premarin cream 0.625. The Premarin appears to have stopped working. Has anyone had luck with estrace tablets versus cream? Okay. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Medical complications happen a lot with a lot of things. What's your point?
It's much more harmful to drink.
You know what a worse alternative to that is? Not transitioning. Okay? That is scientifically and medically backed.
As a young age than transition.
I don't see how that's logically consistent.
Why?
Respectfully, because
What's not logically consistent?
their penis. The drinking age limit as well?
No, because drinking can be harmful to people.
And transitioning kids can't, like cutting off their penis, their ability to...
That doesn't
that's not
happen.
harmful?
Doesn't
I would
happen.
say it's much more harmful to drink as a young age than transition.
I don't see how that's...
Correct.
I don't see how that's logically consistent.
Why?
Respectfully, because I think that as like if there's a purpose, like we're acting like happiness is a purpose, we're acting like helping people and being nice to people is a purpose.
Or making I would say
This isn't about helping people and being nice to people. Well, it is about helping people, which you don't give a shit about. But it is about so it's about the outcomes for these kids. And study after study after study after study after study shows that the best outcomes for these kids are when we affirm their gender. We do the same thing for cis kids. We give cis kids surgical fucking procedures. Surgical procedures in some cases. If they have gynecomastia as a young man, okay, or I shouldn't say young man, a young boy, 15, 16 years old, you're growing breasts, you're a young man, okay, young boy, whatever, we do a fucking breast reduction surgery. Are you okay with that? I'd love to know. Maybe he's not. You know, at least that's consistent. I still think that's dumb as shit, but at least that's consistent. I'd love to know what his stance on that is.
Making people feel good.
Making people feel comfortable in
Right,
their
right.
skin.
So if we're saying that those things are important, I think that family is like the virtue, the highest virtue that they can go for.
I don't
If
give
you're
a
saying
shit what you think. You're a dumbass, and your IQ is like room temperature.
that
at
doesn't
best.
really matter, but drinking does harm people, and cutting off the ability to have kids when they're young and they don't know what they're
You
consenting
can
to.
still create a family without having children. If we're saying that
Correct.
the highest virtue is...
And also, like, they go over this with trans kids. Like, listen, just so you know, like, puberty blockers, as long as they're prescribed at the right time, don't cause infertility, first of all. Second of all, if you're going on to estrogen or testosterone, depending on which way you're transitioning, that usually does cause infertility problems, okay? It does. Trans men sometimes still get pregnant, but especially for like trans women, you know, there's more difficulty involved in that. And that's why they go over when you're like 15 or 16 years old. Do you want to freeze your eggs or your sperm? You know, just so we have that so that you can eventually have kids. Okay, you can still have sex, you can still have orgasms, you can still have a good sex life and a good family life. You can still have all these things. You can adopt if you want. There's so many options. Like, science is amazing, and you just shit all over it. We don't care about science anymore. Fuck that, right? Why don't you go live in a fucking cave, man? Okay?
Having a family?
Yeah.
You can adopt. That's a way to get kids. You can surrogate.
Correct.
That's another way.
Correct.
Do you know
Correct.
even the other side effects from because it's not just that's one of the problems is that even if they choose to adopt, if they choose to
Okay,
do
we're
IVF,
we're not addressing that. Oh, he doesn't want to address that. We're pivoting now. Very good pivot. Master debater, by the way.
whatever they
Own
choose to
Sam
do.
Cedar.
It's the fact number one they're not going to want to because typically the reason why they're kind of taking this belief in this stance is I just want to do whatever makes.
Yeah, the guy debating him, he's just some schlump off the street. Like, he's not even that smart, I don't think. Like, he keeps having to put in these overlays to, like, prove his point. Like, what the fuck, man? Just let your speaking... You know what I do when I upload debates? I don't edit it at all. I don't edit it at all. I tell Dubsy, just put in the intro and the outro. I don't edit it. I don't put any overlays, nothing. Okay? Don't be a pussy.
Makes me happy. It's like
This is kind of pussy shit.
Okay.
These people's beliefs are typically self-centered, abandoning all logic and responsibility. It's fuck you. That doesn't mean anything. That does not mean anything.
That's fine. But the other thing that I'm kind of contesting is that, have you heard of the WPATH files?
The what?
WPATH files?
Yeah, Mr. Depression is
WPATH
not
is like
real.
this big, it's like for transgender, like the biggest organization for transgender people. Medical experts and professionals, they all base off their practice, like off that specific thing.
Okay.
They got exposed in 2022 for like an internal leak from the company. All these doctors were exposing all their messages, all the results, stuff that was not publicized. And the WPATH showed all the messages and all the screenshots. What they don't tell you is when people go on, when these kids are so young and they're still going through puberty, they cut off their penis or they implant a fake penis.
No, they don't. They don't cut off their penis. That doesn't happen.
It's like a micro penis. They don't tell you about how much pain they're actually physically,
Physical pain.
physical and mental pain they're actually.
Genital procedures do not happen until they're adults. Like there are very rare, like exceedingly rare instances where it happens when you're like 16 or 17. Usually that's because like there's severe mental distress. And I guarantee you, you will not find a case of that happening and the person was not happy with it. Find one. Find one. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm willing to concede that I'm wrong on that, but I've never seen one.
Going through every single day for the rest of their life. They don't tell you about those things. And I genuinely, like, I'm not even trying to disagree with you. I think you and me would both care about those people regardless.
They implant the penis.
Conservative or whatever.
Pain in people.
Penis implants.
Bad, I will say.
But even more, don't you think from an ethical standpoint, these people that we're appealing to, WPATH, the people that are the basis of like medical researchers say that this is right for
He talks so fucking fast. He's such a Ben Shapiro wannabe.
these kids because of this WPATH organization. If they are concealing that from the public, don't you think that's very scary if they're the ones that we actually go to for authority?
What are they concealing from the public? What is this? Like... Hold on. WPATH leaked documents. Oh, it's just the WPATH files again. What is this? What is this? What newsletter site? Can I not? Actually, can I not do that? And still read this? Michigan House... I don't fucking care what the fucking Michigan House Republicans have to say anyway. Give me a credible scientific organization that shows that WPATH is like
The results,
doing anything wrong.
stuff that was
I
not
don't give a
publicized.
shit.
And the WPATH showed all the messages and all the screenshots. What they don't tell you is when people go on, when these kids are so young and they're still going through puberty, they cut off their penis or they implant a fake penis, like a micro penis. They don't tell you about how much pain they're actually physically,
Physical pain.
physical and mental pain they're actually going through every single day for the rest of their life. They don't tell you about those things. And I genuinely, like, I'm not even trying to disagree with you. I think you and me would both care about those people regardless. Not even as a Republican or a conservative or whatever.
Pain in people is bad.
You don't care about them. You don't. You don't. Don't sell me that bullshit. Okay? Just be honest. I would respect these guys so much more if they were just honest and say, I fucking hate trans people and I want them all to die. I'd respect them more. I'd still hate them. I'd still hate their guts. But at least that's honest. Stop lying, man. Stop bullshitting me.
Fame, power.
Why does no one call out conservatives' hyperfixation on the fertility of children? What, you want them to be able to have children with you? Weird.
Of course they do. Thank you for another 5 tier 1 gifted sub, Saga Tanuki. Yeah, I wonder what this guy's stance on like child brides is. Because, you know, like his side is the one that always, for some reason, always seems to defend child brides, right? Child marriage in the red states. Go look that up.
I will say.
But even more, don't you think from an ethical standpoint, these people that we're appealing to, WPATH, the people that are the basis of like medical researchers say that this is right for these kids because of this WPATH organization, if they are concealing that from the public, don't you think that's very scary if they're the ones that we actually go to for authority?
I would say that if there is, I don't know enough
What
about this.
I would ask at this point, what specifically have they concealed? What information do you have that was that they did not reveal to the public that you are concerned about? Please list some off. You surely must have at least a few points, right? You don't have to memorize it, but like, I'd like to know at least something from that data that was leaked. Something, anything, please.
Really speak on it.
Yeah.
I would say that if that, what you're saying.
My best guess, by the way, it's like a few cases. Like, by the way, personal patient data, I should say, of like complications, medical complications, which do happen, okay? It always happens in anything medical. Complications always happen. All right. But yeah, I would like to know what he's specifically referring to. That would be my next question.
Is true in the way that it was framed. I would say it's slightly concerning. But again,
Notice how easy it is for these people to dismiss truth. Then say the fucking truth, man. You didn't say anything. You're just like, well, the WPATH had files that were leaked. What do you think about that? What were the files? What did they say? I want to know. I want to know.
Again, I would say
Tell me.
that the overwhelming amount
You've studied this
of
so
people
much.
who transition are
You
very
care about
happy
trans
they did.
people so
There's
much,
not-
right?
The regret rate's under 1%, as
Yep,
I've said.
correct. Nope, that's not false. That's not false. That is true. There are studies that say the regret rate is anywhere from like under 1% to like 5%. I'm pretty sure. Dubsy, feel free to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's like the best data we have is that the regret rate is exceedingly low.
No. It's the reason I ask. I don't like study bro thing because then we could both pull up studies. I've looked into a lot of studies. Okay.
I don't do
Some
studies.
of the biggest people that were in the gender expert field.
God, what is with these fucking text walls? He's like a leftist, man. The most thorough follow-up of sex reassigned people extending over. Oh no! Don't tell me this is a Swedish study. Is this the Swedish study? This is the Swedish study! We got one, folks. Let's go. Let's go. We got the Swedish study, baby. Oh, I love this one. So here's the thing about the Swedish study that you guys have to know. So the Swedish study is one that is often brought up by transphobes, and the people who actually, bring up, like the people who did the Swedish study tell transphobes, hey, dumbasses, stop using our study to say that trans care is bad. Because guess what? What the study was saying is that people who have transgender surgery, okay, transsexual surgery, whatever you're going to call it, have a higher rate of depression and suicidality than the general population after surgery. Which of course that's true. Because they still live in a transphobic world. They still need mental health care. Okay? That was the takeaway from that study. And the fucking people from that study who did it say, transphobes, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. They literally, like, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure some of them literally regret publishing the study because of this.
What they actually
because people just like misinterpret the shit out of it.
Show is that through all 3 phases of transitioning, their suicide rate stays exactly the same, if not gets a little bit worse. So I'll grant you, like, if you were a kid and you were saying, I'm in the wrong body, adopt.
What is he saying here? 10 to 15 years after surgical reassignment, the suicide rate of those who had undergone sex reassignment surgery rose to 20 times. Rose? No. Results. The overall mortality for sex reassigned person was higher during follow-up than for controls of the same birth sex. Controls. Yeah, of course it's higher. Yes. That's what they found. They found that people post-reassignment surgery still need psychiatric care. That's what they found.
Adopt the new gender, right? I'm going to grant you that in the first year, you're going to feel happy. You will feel better. But what they're actually not showing is the long-term effects. They're not showing how they're miserable 3 years, 4 years down the line, and a lot of them detransition. But they won't.
I just brought up a 5-year study, dipshit.
Show those numbers publicly. They do.
I've appreciated everything. That is an incorrect statistic. The detransition.
Can you repeat it?
Yes, I can. I mean, if I get.
Due to sloppy, inadequate follow-up, the true detransition rate is unknown, but recent studies indicate it is rising. Several small studies provide valuable insights into the detransition experience. The best studies we have say that it's still like exceedingly low. Exceedingly low.
Appreciated everything. That is an incorrect statistic. The detransition.
Can you repeat it?
Yes, I can. I mean, if I get a second to Google.
Yeah. I'll let you. Yeah.
I'll just look up detransition.
Yeah, because the problem with the study bro thing is that you're going to pull up a study and I'm going to be able to pull up like 3 other studies that kind of do the opposite. That's why I don't like.
That point doesn't. Well, then saying can you prove something doesn't matter if we're just going to go.
Dog, you need to substantiate your claims, dumbass.
Study for study.
Yeah, but then we look at the logical consistency of all the studies together. And if there's no
you can prove a point, however, it takes time to research, not just a quick Google search. Sometimes it is just a quick Google search. Here, ready? Do a quick Google search. Transition regret rate. Regret after gender affirmation surgery, a systematic review and meta-analysis of prevalence. Results. A total of 27 studies pulling 7,928 transgender patients who underwent any type of GAS were included. The pooled prevalence of regret after GAS was 1%! Overall, 33% underwent transmasculine procedures and 67% transfeminine procedures. The prevalence of regret among patients undergoing transmasculine and transfeminine surgeries was less than 1% and 1% respectively. A total of 77 patients regretted having GAS. 28 had minor, and that's 77, by the way, out of 8,000 people. 28 had minor and 34 had major regrets on whatever you pronounce that, regret classification. The majority had clear regret based on Kuiper and Cohen-Katenis classification. The majority had clear regret based on Kuiper and Cohen-Katenis classification. What does that mean? Had clear regret. Hold on. I don't know what this statement means. The majority had clear regret. Oh, okay. I think it's saying the majority of like these people had clear regret based on Kuiper and Cohen. Okay, I see what it's saying. Based on this review, there is an extremely low prevalence of regret in transgender patients after GAS. We believe this study corroborates the improvements made in regard to selection criteria for GAS. However, there is high subjectivity in the assessment of regret and lack of standardized questionnaires. They always have to include, by the way, don't, like every single time you share these studies with people, they'll pull up this sentence specifically and go, oh, well, see the sentence where they hold themselves accountable to certain, to particular things that might influence the study. This is called accountability in a study. You'll never see this in a conservative source or study. You'll never see it. Yeah, 77 out of 8,000. So yeah, sometimes it really is just a quick Google search, but not that I would expect this guy to know that.
Consensus, can we both at least agree if there's no consensus, we probably shouldn't be pushing this as if it's true?
There is a consensus.
I would not agree with that because again, people feel better. I pulled up a
he's just right. He's just correct.
I know. I agree with that. I agree that people feel like better. So well, that's just Google, by the way.
Okay. What's a study?
Okay. What's your source?
No, that's the thing with sociology. Okay. Can I tell you the first off the premise of sociology? Okay. Sociology is the field that it is, right? And it's a
See, this is my point. Like he's not saying anything right now. He just says whatever he needs to try to force his worldview onto you. He doesn't care about science. He's a fucking religious zealot. Okay, the Bible is his Bible. Like, that's what he worships. Okay? He doesn't give a shit about science. He only cares about making sure that trans kids are not actually trans. Okay? And he's fine with them killing themselves. He's fine with it. He'll say he's not, but he is. Okay? He's fine with them killing themselves as long as they're not trans.
Soft science. So that means that 60 to 70% of their studies, they cannot be replicated. And science is all about replicability. So if something can be replicated...
So now he's going into a spiel to discredit any form of scientific analysis or study.
Observed, tested, and verified. That's science itself. With this, if I come into the doctor's office and I say I'm unhappy, they can't prove that again. They just take my intuition to be true, and then they base that off of like this.
That's called a subjective analysis, man. Or subjective assessment. When you go into the doctor and you say you're unhappy, in nursing school, we call this a subjective assessment. You're unhappy. That's subjective. If your heart rate is 140, which is very high, it shouldn't be that. But let's say it's 140. That's an objective assessment, okay? Saying that you're unhappy, rating your depression, rating your anxiety, that's all subjective assessment. And they are still important points of measurement. Because guess what else is a subjective point of measurement? Pain. You want to tell me pain's not real? Pain's not real because it's a subjective assessment? Is that what you think?
This is true. This is a fact.
Well, that goes both ways, though. Like, if you say, for this specific argument, you could regret transitioning now and then in a month or not. You could never regret detransition. You could always regret. But I'm saying that based on just pure statistics of just one quick Google search, it shows that a vast majority of people prefer the way they are after the transition.
But within what time frame?
That is correct. No, that's correct. That is true. That is absolutely true. He's just lying out his ass. That is correct.
The first year, 10 years down the line? No, but that's where, brother, like, I want you to, like, look this up later. Look up the long-term effects of it.
Long-term effects?
Because I'm granting that in the first year, they'll probably feel happy.
We have a 5-year study. 5-year study's not enough. We need a 10-year study. We're going to get a 10-year study. That won't be enough. We need a 20-year study. We're going to get a 20-year study. That won't be enough. What are they going to feel in 150 years from now? What if they regret it in 2 centuries from now? God forbid that we give them gender-affirming care right now, and then 200 years later, they're like, gee, boy, do I wish that 200 years ago I hadn't done that. I've been happy for 200 years, but now I'm not. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, they're gonna feel good. They're gonna have all these like energy levels, adrenaline rush. They're gonna feel good. But how is it gonna feel 3
for
years
5 years?
Studies that I've looked at, that there's no consensus within that they do produce good results.
5 years.
No consensus.
You know what they call it? They call it a Castro consensus.
Sorry.
I need to stop. That's enough. We've gone on long enough. I've had all I can take. This is... It's too much. It's too much. The brain rot is so heavy. I can't believe that I actually considered reaching out to this guy to like have a debate with him. It's not even worth it. He is like just so inherently anti-science, and like like I said, he will say anything. He will say literally anything in order to get his point across and force his ideology onto you. That's what he does. That's what people like him do. He is a fucking cockroach, and the sooner he dies, the better off the world will be. And I truly believe that. Well, I went to cut the scream out of the segment. I disagree. I saw you in his comment section roasting him. All I said was that he just wouldn't shut the fuck up. I need to pee again. I'll be right back. I mean, Guitar Rocker, if you have a good argument for why I should take it out, I'll listen, but I'm probably going to leave it in. Anyway, I'll be right back.
I'm here to steal content, and I'm here to profit off of it. I'm here to steal content, and I'm here to profit off of it.
Isoto Empty Chairs gifted a tier 1 sub to Critical Ace Theory. This is their first gift sub in the channel.
Okay, I hate to do this to you guys. I think I'm gonna wrap up stream. I'm good. I'm tired. I got very tired all of a sudden. Who's live? Dylan Burns is live. I'm sorry, guys. Before you go, I want to say that I'm getting back into One Piece. Very nice. Good. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I want to eat. And that was the main thing that I wanted to go over anyway. So I feel like I did a pretty good job. I want to spend the night with my wife. And I don't know what else I'd go over tonight. Sorry it wasn't like super long, but eh. Great stream, thank you. I also thought so. I have to set up 2 raids now, so forgive me. Give me a second. Okay. Post. Burns. Alright. It's happening. Thank you guys very much for being here tonight. Love you all. Thank you for the Twitch chat for joining me for my first stream back. You can look forward to many more of those. I'll just be streaming on both Twitch and YouTube from now on. Hopefully I will not forget any rules that Twitch has that YouTube doesn't. I think the main one is don't say you know what yourself. Right. Like that's the main one. Other than that, I'm still watching Egghead Island. I have bits to give? Ooh. Well thank you. You can give those anytime. I'll accept those. Thank you. And I'll fix the raid thing. It was not supposed to play that stupid song. I got rid of it, I thought. But apparently it still played it, so I'll fix that. Anyway, thank you all again for being here. Love you all. And I will see you on Friday when I am back for more. Until then, take care and good night.